Nope. We good? All right, so those of you who are in the room, before we leave at the end, I am going to have just a sort of sign up checkout sheet. Those of you who are live on YouTube, if you guys could do me a favor and type your name in the chat box. That way we get the attendance at the beginning, and then at the end, I'm going to go to this. As we go through the meeting, if you have questions in the room, obviously just shout out, raise your hands. Those of you who are on YouTube, ask your questions in the chat box. I know I have my phone open and we'll be able to answer it. Believe it or not, game started in January 29th this year, which is absolutely crazy. But I love having a meeting like this. We've been reading about the new rules. We've been hearing about the new rules. We've been watching videos of the new rules. How many people have watched the videos and be like, I have 5 questions based on this? All right, so that is really a big reason I like to have this before we go out there full-fledged. What are we looking for? Huh? Oh, yeah, no, it's not in there. So let's take this time today. If you brought questions from previous meetings, from previous videos, let's talk through it. Let's ask them. I know there's going to be questions when we go over the NAIA test as well. But with no further ado, so this year, college baseball, this area, we have access to the Great Plains. We got access to North Star, ICCAC. I work closely with Chad Ishins in the Northern Sun, and Sean Bolte out there in the heart of America. He helped me tremendously here the next 2 days, and I'm sure I'm going to give him help back throughout the season. So a lot of opportunities and progress coming in college baseball. All right, so I will send this out to all of our staffs, but a lot of questions asked conference by conference. There is differences because it's up to the conference to pick what rules, what recommendations they want to go. So double first base in the GPAC, only Northwestern and Briarcliff have a double first base. All other ones are still playing single base. North Star, I have not got a single team. I definitely know Bellevue's not having a double first base. There was some places they want it, but they don't know if they could get it because they don't own the park. So is the park district going to put in double first base or not? And then ICCAC, our junior college, no places will have a double first base. All right, so crew chiefs, when you get there, when you confirm, always good peek at first base, see if there's one base or 2 bases. If there's 2 bases, I would definitely go over that in pregame, which we'll go over the new rules with the double first base. Visual clocks, Doane, Dordt, Concordia, Northwestern will have visual clocks in the GPAC. Dickinson State, which is a site for the conference tournament, will have a visual pitch clock. And then there are no visual pitch clocks in the ICCAC. I will, how many officials work either college football, college basketball here? No, only one. Okay. Imagine a college football game without a play clock, visual play clock. Okay. Imagine a college basketball game without a visual shot clock. It's just not very efficient. I have said that to our conference coaches, administrators, it does change the game, whether that pitch clock, action clock is enforced or not. So when we get into that, the fields that do not have a visual clock, we have to enforce the rule. All right, we have to enforce the rule. Foreign substance checks. We are not going to do any mandatory foreign substance checks. Brandon. Do not know. All right, so the question was, the places that do have a visual clock, who is manning the visual clock? Is it going to be us, the umpires on the field, or are they going to have somebody up in the press box? I do not know what system each school has. I told Northwestern coach, I would rather it be us at our level manning it on the field, because we are working with the clock every single day. And if there's not a visual clock, we are manning it already with our ready ref or stopwatch. But I know there are systems out there where they will have somebody in the press box manning that visual clock. So foreign substance, no conference is asking us to mandate that. So we do not have to check starting pitchers. We do not have to check relief pitchers. And we don't have to do random checks. Was it third inning or fifth inning if the starter is still in? However, we will, if a opposing coach requests us to check for foreign substance, we will honor that. All right, so if an opposing coach says, all right, could you check their pitcher? Yes, we will check their pitcher. Guess what we should probably do the next half inning? Check the other team's pitcher as well, okay? We have not had any issues with foreign substance in our three conferences in my history here as a supervisor. It is more of a Division I thing. But again, to keep us out of that perception is if a coach requests it, yes, go check the pitcher. Next half inning, check their pitcher as well. So now it looks like we're checking both pitchers. Okay. Bat testing, everything is beginning of the series. All right, so if it's a 4-game series, they only have to check it one time, but they have to put a sticker on every single lineup card. All right, that's a new rule, is the home plate umpire needs to know what sticker of the 20 stickers in May is the sticker that counts today. All right, so even though they're only checking it once, the sticker should be put on every single lineup card. Substitutions, I bring this up because NAIA, there is reentry, there is courtesy runner. NCAA, which is JUCO, there is no reentry, there is no courtesy runner. I know when we go over the test, there's questions on reentry and courtesy runners. But be aware, all right, JUCO, NCAA, NAIA, reentry, and courtesy runner. All right, pitch clock enforcement, GPAC, all right, 80-20. So the batter has to be ready within 8 seconds, and then the pitcher has to start delivering the pitch within 20. 120 for a starter and returning pitcher, and then 150 seconds for a relief pitcher, and that 150 is when he crosses the warning track. All right, so there was some questions. Every field is different. There's bullpens right next to the dugout. There's bullpens out beyond outfield. There's bullpens where they have to come through the dugout. There's bullpens that could come through the outfield fence. All right. Use common sense, fair play. If the coach indicates, yes, I want a relief pitcher, that relief pitcher does come the quickest way into the field of play. Start that 150 warm-up as you see appropriate. For the North Star, they are doing, it's the same as the GPAC, but that conference has elected to do 30-second conferences and 30 seconds with the new batter. All right, and we'll go into details of enforcement with that, but in general, coach calls time, 30-second clock starts. Previous out is done, pitcher has the ball, 30-second clock starts. We have to be in the next at-bat within 30 seconds. All right. But the North Star Conference is the only conference that has elected to do the 30-second action clock. And then JUCO is the same as GPAC. The 80, the 20, the 120, the 150. Everybody here, does everyone have a plan what they're going to use or a tool to use for the action clock on the field? Because if you don't, when we have a break, talk to buddies and see what they use, what do they recommend, and have a plan, because we cannot have umpires on the field without a tool to use action clock. Game formats. All right, so GPAC. They go 7-inning and then the 9-inning. So if you're a crew chief, typically you'd be like, hey, I want the 7-inning game. All right, crew chief gets to decide that. If that first game does go into extra innings, that 9-inning game now turns into a 7-inning game. Okay, so the 7-9. If it's Monday through Thursday in GPAC, let's say a weekend series gets bumped to a Monday doubleheader or a Monday and Tuesday doubleheader, they now are going to go 2 7s. All right, so Monday through Thursday in the GPAC is 2 7s. They will have a 10-run mercy rule in the 9-inning game only. They do not have a mercy rule in the 7-inning game. In the tournament for GPAC, there is no mercy rule. All right, so it's all 9-inning games, but they play all 9 innings all the way out. North Star, 7th and the 9, same thing. If the 7 goes extra, 9 turns into a 7. 10-run mercy in the 9-inning game. The difference with the North Star when it comes to conference tournament, they have a mercy rule up until the championship game. Now the championship game, there's no mercy rule. And then the ICCAC, 7th and the 9-inning, 10-run mercy after 5 innings for the 7-inning game. And then they have 10-run mercy 7 innings for the 9-inning game. So the difference with the JUCO is they do play the mercy even in the 7-inning game. It's just 10 after 5. Compensation. GPAC 185 for a single, and that's not 285 for a double. And show, no matter how many times I do this. 270 for GPAC. The North Star, 0 to 45 miles. It's 150, 250 per game. 46 to 120, 165 per game. And then 121 plus 202.50 cents per game. The difference with the North Star, if you work the North Star, there's a lot more travel involved. So the idea is the crew does get paid more per game to assist in a hotel. GPAC, I'd take into consideration travel a lot more, so hotel is not needed. The other big difference, believe it or not, who's been working in GPAC the past 3 years? All right, so when we did a 3-year contract, and this is the last year of it, it was actually a $50 raise 3 years ago to catch up to other conferences. And then within those 3 years, other conferences around us then went above and beyond what we did. So yes, the Heart of America I think is $320. KCAC I think is $320. So it is $50 higher. But at one point, GPAC was higher. So now the whole 3-year cycle starts over again for the GPAC. So I do try to keep travel a lot more in consideration when it comes to the GPAC because I know the rate's lower. When it comes to the North Star, it's hard to keep travel. It's hard to keep anything. It's really availability. And then the ICCAC this year, if you worked the ICCAC last year, this is quite a big jump from last year. So 200 for a single, 300 for a double. And as of right now, I think there's 12 series where there's a hotel. If umpires got back to me saying they needed a hotel because they're traveling over 100 miles, those have been sent into the schools. But back-to-back days, 100 miles, a hotel is provided, and it's a one room for the crew, double queen bed. All right, so hopefully you like your crewmate. Griffin and Dan, you guys like, I think you guys have 2 hotel weekends. Yep. So. All right, game reports. I am not going to ask crew chiefs and coaches to fill out game reports every single game. I know how that can be throughout the season, especially when there's a lot of changes. However, coaches have the ability to fill out an observation form, which I'll show everybody here, that every game they could fill out. And I tell coaches, the more they fill it out, the more credibility they have for me. Now, if they only fill out 2 per year and the 2 they give back to me is all negative, they never want to see that umpire again, yes, I will process it. I'll look through it. But it's not going to be viewed the same as a coach that did every single game, good and bad. All right, so just know, coaches, when I share this with you, they do have the opportunity to have a voice, to give feedback to me. I think I do a pretty good job of reading through it, deciphering through it. They also have access to put video on that form to give me examples. But coaches have it every single day. Crew chief feedback. This is when we get into postseason and advancing as a baseball umpire. This is probably the person you have to impress the most as a new college umpire. All right, the crew chiefs, because it's really them. I want to work with this umpire again. All right, because at the end of the day, we assign a lot, but you guys are out there with each other. I want you to be comfortable and confident with your partners. All right, so crew chiefs, if there is somebody that's like, man, this umpire is good, give me that feedback. Crew chiefs, if there's an umpire, this umpire struggled, but if they do this, they do this, they do this, they could get better. Give me that feedback. All right, so crew chiefs, the way it's assigned right now, most games, series, I try to put that veteran as a crew chief. Now, as the season goes, it might be a late change where it might be offset, but we'll talk about the tier 1 people here in a little bit. But that's really our game reports. It's not mandatory every single game, but no, I want the feedback. I can't do anything without the feedback. Because in my world, no news is good news. All right, I'm sure that's in a lot of people's world. Umpire observations. So almost every home site now has live stream. Okay, so I will be using live stream quite a bit, watching umpires. And it's not fair, I will say this, it is not fair where it might be an inning all year long of watching a single umpire work, and guess what? That's the umpire observation I have for you that year. All right, really unfair, I might be working with many of you throughout the year. That might be the umpire observation throughout the year. All right, but just know every game is on film, every game is streamed. And film, unfortunately, does not lie. So just when we talk about, man, I want to be observed, you're observed every single game. You just don't know when somebody's watching. And that's for all of us. So understand that every conference has live stream. It's almost a mandatory thing for them at their home site. All right, when it comes conference to conference nuances, does anybody have, does this conference do this different versus this conference? Does anybody, because the last thing I want you to do is walk into a site and ask the coach a question, the coach think, do you not know what we do in our conference? All right, so that's what I'm trying to avoid here with this portion. I don't think there's any questions online yet right now. And again, I will be sending this presentation out. So if you're one of those umpires like myself, or I just print it out and have it with me, you can have it to go over this. Go for it.
Previous slide, you talked about 30-second rule. Is that 30 seconds for them to get ready to
Yep.
be in the box? Then it's the 20 seconds.
No, it's so yes. So if the offense calls a timeout, 30 seconds starts right there. Now they have to be ready to play again within that 30 seconds. Defense calls a timeout, Coach crosses the fair foul line, 30-second starts. They have to be ready to pitch again at the expiration of 30. And then 30 seconds in between batters. Once that pitcher gets the ball again, that 30-second starts. But now that is the pitch clock. It's a 30-second pitch clock. All right, now we're going to go into examples. I have case plays in my head. I will tell you this. Every new rule in here, I always had a lot of questions. Like, what if this happens? What if this happens? This is the time we want to get all those what ifs answered. All right, so bounding ball. So this is a ground ball. To be fair, the ball must go over the portion of the white base. So again, it is still any part of the white base. So can it go over part of the green base? Absolutely. It just has to go part of the white base. So fair foul, just pretend like the orange or green base is not there. The initial play. So this is a ground ball. The initial play is on the batter runner. The runner must use the color base. The fielder must use the white base. Okay, yes?
If there's let's say a grounder to shortstop, and that fielder is fielding the throw and pulling them across the bat, he still has to be touching the white base.
Correct. Okay. So initial play, runner uses color, fielder uses white. Exception, drop third strike. Okay. And then there's like exception. So drop third strike. If the ball forces the first baseman to use the colored base, so typically what do the defenders do? They say inside, outside. All right, so it's supposed to be a gentleman's agreement at this point. And Curtis is laughing over there. So when the catcher and first baseman are saying outside, the runner now is supposed to run inside. Okay? But either could still use either base. So it's not mandatory that first baseman, even though they said outside, it's not mandatory that they have to use the outside. So if it's an errant throw that takes them to the inside white base, okay, we're good. And we could still have that collision at first base, and that runner could still use either base. All right, so now with all that being said, we're talking about an errant throw. If you have a runner, so the defense is saying outside, and the defense is going outside, and you have that runner willfully, deliberately, intentionally get in front of that first baseman, all right, now you have interference. All right, the runner can't choose to go to that colored base when the defense is choosing, and it's obvious they're using the colored base. That runner now has to go to the white base. All right, or they could be at risk of being called for interference based on your judgment as an umpire. All right, everyone see that play I'm talking about, where we are judging human behavior of this is what they should do to avoid a collision, but this is what this runner is choosing to do to impede and hinder, confuse the fielder receiving the throw. All right, so that's a great question. So if they're choosing outside, the runner now most likely is running outside of the runner's lane, which it's legal to run outside the runner's lane as long as you don't impede. So if they're running outside the runner's lane not to impede and it's a bad throw, I'm not going to call them out of the runner's lane because it's the bad throw that impeded. It wasn't the runner doing something he shouldn't be doing.
So is that also depending on the defense to both saying outside, or inside?
It's not saying the defense has to be, but that is something we can process as a big picture. Now, let's say the defense doesn't communicate at all. Yeah, if they don't communicate anything at all, and that first baseman's like, I don't know which, just pretend like the second base isn't there. As in like the mandatory of who's going to use what. I'm trying to think if there was any plays. Well, no, we'll get in the next slide before we talk about week one. So runner touches white base on the initial play. All right. So this is the initial play. Remember, the initial play, the runner has to hit the second base, the orange, the green base. If they only hit the white, by rule, they have not legally touched a base. Okay, so now NCAA rules, all right, now they could appeal that they had not touched first base. And since this is initial play at first base, this is force out. So therefore, they're out. And if there is a run that's scored, that run does not count. All right, that's an NCAA specific rule. All right, so, and the mechanic, I'm visualizing what Billy Hayes said last week. It's safe and one hand off the bag. Okay, I have not seen it. Yep. So typically we'll say safe first baseman off the bag with two hands. What they said, and by the way, we have not seen the mechanic yet. All right, it's actually no signal, because we don't signal if they miss the bag. It's just this. All right, so had anybody seen NCAA Division I, that mechanic yet that I'm talking about? All right, I have not seen it either. All right, but there is a signal. So, no, it's on the appeal. So we're doing nothing if they miss a bag, just like we would always do. If they miss the bag, they miss the bag. Now, they appeal, either they tag that runner out or they touch the base to appeal out. We are going to go off the bag, out. So the signal is they did not touch the orange or green base. Okay. Extra bases.
This might be a stupid question, but what base is he? So they throw it to the first base for the field.
Yep.
Is he on the white bag or is he on the other bag?
White. The defense has to use the white. Hit to the outfield. The runner can use either base on the initial touch. They can hit the orange, the green, the white. The first baseman still cannot obstruct. They can't hinder, impede, anything like that. If there's a back pick, they have to use the white. Everybody uses the white. And then runner return to the base. Again, everybody uses the white. And we talk about all this. Remember, right now there's 2 sites that have double bag. All right. It's coming though. So get used to it. I'm sure there's going to be some plays that come out throughout the year, and I'm willing to bet this rule changes even a little bit between the off season based on, does this limit collisions? Does it not limit collisions? So, and that's the intent of it. The intent is we're trying to limit collisions at first base. Go ahead, Eric.
Just to clarify, it's any hit to the outfield. Could be a shot in the middle because you made the gesture of 5 balls.
Yep, any hit to the outfield. Yep. All right, that is double first base. Team personnel leaving position. The intent of this rule is to keep players in the dugout, and it has given umpires more of a guidance of what is leaving the position, which then will lead to ejections. All right, so I have it broken down into 3 segments: leaving position, altercation, within vicinity. And it's going to be important for ejection reports. So leaving position, we need to know as an umpire, where were they at when the altercation started? All right, I think is going to be the tough one when I'm processing. We have a third out at second base, and it was a late hard slide with contact. Now we have the runner, we have the fielder in an altercation. Well, what does the defense do after the third out? They come off the field. So now we have that left fielder, center fielder going to the first base dugout. All right, what does the old offense do after the third out? They run out to the field. All right, that's going to be the tough one. All right, so, but minus that tough one, leaving the position. The positions are bullpen, dugout, coaching box, a base, a defensive position, on deck circle. So we have to know where the players, where were they supposed to be when this altercation started. All right, so a lot of times we as umpires, we want to get involved and prevent and all that good stuff. If you are not the closest umpire, you have to now start scanning the field. All right, who is leaving their positions? Don't go running into the situation with your partner. Stay back, stay out of the way. What is the altercation? Pushing, shoving, bumping, fighting. When I say verbal, unsporting words, players are going to say stuff to each other, but we're looking for gestures. We're looking for aggressive body language. Okay, so think about situations in baseball where you saw aggressive yelling, screaming body language. And the thing that comes to my head right away is pitcher strike 3 and they start screaming towards the opponent's dugout. All right, or that whole "by you, go sit down." All right, that's the start of the altercation to me. All right, so that is what we have to be aware of. What is the altercation that started it? Pushing, shoving, bumping, kicking, that's the easy part. The hard part is the verbal. So we have to know, when did that start? All right, because there has been times, college baseball, that pitcher does strike 3, they yell at the opposing team's dugout, and now people leave the dugout. All right, that altercation started with that pitcher. And now this player and this player left their position of the dugout to now be part of that altercation. That's the information we're going to need in the ejection report. All right. And that is that's the new rule is they leave their possession, it is an ejection. So they don't have to participate. They can't even leave their position. All right, they're making the rule to the point where they're telling the coaches, we're not waiting for them to participate. We're getting them once they leave their position. All right, so coaches. So we talk about umpires not running in there as a second and third umpire to help. The coaches can. All right, now, when coaches leave their position to help the situation, guess who they can't touch and talk to? The other team. They have to go straight to their players, pull their players out. All right, I hope you're not in a situation where that coach goes after the other team, because now guess what happens to that coach when they go after the other team? Now they're ejected. Okay? They can go out there. They have to deal with their team members. Okay? If they're dealing with their team members, they can leave their position. If players leave their position, they're ejected. They will serve a 1-game suspension. If players participate, they're ejected, 4-game suspension. Okay, so leaving position is a 1-game. Participating is a 4-game. All right, so I'm going to give an example here of an ejection report. So during the shoving altercation, so in this report, I am stating as the umpire when this altercation started, because again, what does every game have at a home site? Video. All right, so now if we go back and look at this, all right, we're going to look for the shoving. During the shoving altercation between number 33, Jeff Kopetsky from Gretna, and number 22, Sean Johnson from Bennington. Number 23, Brent McNerlin from Gretna left the Gretna's dugout and went clearly beyond the warning track. All right, so what was Brent McNerlin's original position? Dugout. I showed proof that they left the position, and I did put there beyond the warning track on purpose. All right, 1 foot out of the dugout is not leaving the position. If I'm the home plate umpire, this altercation's taken on at second base, I'm staying back, I'm yelling at both dugouts, stay in the dugouts. So if they're the warning track, they stop, they go back, we're not ejecting for that. We did our job as an umpire. We warned them to stop. The players took our direction, stopped, and went back. That is not an ejection. Now, if I say get back in the dugout, and this player goes beyond the warning track and stays out of the dugout, now we have an ejection. Okay? Now, at the end of that, according to this rule, he left the dugout, 1-game suspension. And then we got number 22 and number 33, Jeff and Sean. They participated in the fight with the shoving. They have 4-game. All right. We're going to get into reports later on. What important information is missing in this ejection report? Okay. Date, game, inning, score. Okay. Again, when we'll get into ejection reports later, but I just did this little snippet of what we need, and I say we're talking about NAIA coordinator of umpires, talking about the presidents of the universities, head coaches of the universities, myself, and the commissioner of the conference. Give us as much information so we could get straight to the bottom of this. Had a question, Eric.
Clarify, you said coming on the dugout, it's just crossing the warning track, so not even the baseline.
Yeah, so
The track that's in front of the dugout.
yeah, so the education directive here, and this is what I have told coaches, what we want umpires stopping the forward movement. So again, it's just like a coach going out to talk to a pitcher a second time during the same at-bat. What are we doing as an umpire? Coach, you can't go out there. So if they stop and go to the dugout, we're good. Now if they say, what are you talking about? I'm going to go out there. Now they're ejected. So it's that same practice. We see a potential ejection coming. Players, coaches, please stop. If they stop and go back, we're good. If they keep going or stay out of the dugout, now we have to enforce the rule. Okay, so we want to prevent the ejection. Did we have another question up top? Gary?
Well, that might have answered what you just said there, but could be a coach that's going to help the situation, leading, grabbing a player, if John or if Jeff and Sean are shoving, and me, Gary, leave the dugout as a player, and I grab Jeff,
Yep.
drag him right back to the dugout, am I ejected?
You are. As a player, you are. I will say, Gary, I know you're trying to do the right thing, but you as a player cannot go out there. Yep.
What if, is there any difference if the player's already been substituted for?
So,
For 1 game?
suspended for 1 game for the fighting or for leaving the position? Leaving the position, I don't believe there's a difference. Let's get out the handy-dandy rule book, though. Let's see here. So no. So if you go to the ejections, page 27, leaving vicinity of the dugout, bullpen, or position on the field at the time of the potential altercation or fight. First offense is ejection plus 1 game suspension. Second offense is same as first offense. Third offense is same as first offense. All right, so there's not an escalation on this one. Great question there, though. Next one, electronic devices. So the first electronic device we talk about, charting. This is where they're gunning behind the dugout, or sorry, in the stands behind home plate. Non-uniform personnel, they can sit in the stands. Every team does it. They cannot transmit any information to the dugout. Once they are out, they must stay out. All right, because what do you need to have to be in the dugout? A uniform. All right, so that's what coaches always ask me. Is like, well, why they're part of the team, why can't they be in the dugout? Well, they can be in the dugout, they just need to be in uniform. Well, they pitched yesterday, they're not pitching today, they're just charting pitches. Sweet. They can't be in uniform. You can't be both. That's why the rule is the way it is. Okay? Josh.
I guess my question is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, has that rule changed? So when I was a college baseball coach, we used to have pitching chart runners, and they would be in and out of the dugout all the time.
The rule has not changed. Umpires did not enforce it.
Gotcha.
All right. And I will stand here and say, Have I seen players chart and then go in the dugout? Yes. Yes, I have. Now, I'm going to tell everybody here, and coaches have access to this. If the opposing team says, hey, the non-uniform players are charting and giving information to the dugout, me as an umpire, guess what I got to do? I now have to enforce the rule. Guys, you got to stay out there. Guys, you cannot communicate to the team. So yes, they can gun. Yes, they can video as well in the stands. All right, between the dugouts, they could video. It just cannot get back into the dugout. Okay? So I'm not asking home plate umpires every half inning to start looking who's in the stands, who's not in the stands. But if the other team says something, we cannot ignore the rule. If we know they're talking to their team, we have to ask them to politely stop doing that. And if they don't, now they're just not there. The coach is warned, and then it can lead to ejection. Hopefully we have enough positive communication we do not eject over charting. All right. Now, pitch call devices. A lot of questions that were sent in to me from coaches. There's two categories. The first one is pitch call device. So that's what's up on the left-hand side. You are going to see players that have a wristband. It looks like one of those health bits. All right. And it doesn't make any noise. And you can't talk into it. It literally gives steal, walk-off, bunt, squeeze. If it gives to pitchers, it'll say fastball, changeup. It might even do a pitch location. So fastball 6, fastball 7, that's the quadrants. All right. Any player, all players can wear those wristbands. Completely legal. Okay. In-ear communication. Only the catcher. Only the catcher could have something in their ear. It's one-way communication. So one-way means only the catcher can hear. The catcher cannot talk back through this communication. I think I've only had it one time where I thought the catcher was talking back to the coach with an open mic. And I asked the catcher, hey, are you talking to your coach? And he goes, nope. I'm like, okay, I'm just making sure. All right, so just know it is easy to manipulate the technology. But if you hear the catcher talking back, that's when you probably ask the catcher, are you talking back? And then hopefully they say no. But electronic devices, okay? Any questions on what the difference is and what's legal and illegal? Because I know a lot of coaches have invested in the upper left hand, the pitch play call. All right. And sometimes, yes, the coach presses the wrong button and they throw the wrong pitch. So they still get crossed up. All right, pitching positions, wind up. We do have example number 4 is going to be a pitch from the first weekend of NCAA baseball. But the big rule difference is a pitcher may pause briefly during the delivery. Okay? So nothing else has changed except that, briefly. Last year, they still couldn't step forward twice. All right, so let's go take a look at some examples. So example number 1. One step backwards, one step forwards, and a pitch. Does anybody, NCAA rules have this as an illegal pitch? All right, that's a completely legal pitch. One step forward, one step backwards, one step forward, completely legal. Very odd, but legal. Let's get to here. Pitch number 2.
I have absolutely no idea what this is, but there is. I have absolutely.
All right, so again,
I have
one
absolutely
step
no idea what
backwards,
this is,
one
But
continuous
there is
motion.
no
His pivot foot is in contact with the pitcher's plate,
way that this is legal.
remains in contact with the pitcher's plate,
It's complete bush league.
but that's not our job. Bush league or no bush league, that's not our job. It's a legal pitch. And that was from, I don't think it was last year, but from a
I
college
have
game.
absolutely no.
Okay. Example number 3 that I bring up. Dang it. We're going to come back to 3. Example number 4. So this happened in last weekend. All right. The pitcher right now took a step backwards. He's throwing 100 miles an hour, and he pauses. So I am going to first open it up to the room here. How many people have this as a brief pause versus a complete stop? All right, so how many people have it a stop? Raise your hand. All right. I will 1,000% agree with you. 1,000% agree with you. Now, the only caveat that I have told the coach, if this pitcher does this motion every single time, I will be considering that as a momentarily brief pause. If they do it every single time. But guess what was the count when he did this? 2-strike count. And it was the first time he did it, throwing 100 miles an hour. Okay? So I'm not going to say every single time they do this is it illegal. You still have to umpire. What is the intent of this new rule when we talk about briefly? What do you think what's the intent of the rule? What's that? Not the runner, because we're in a wind-up position. Perfect. All right. We are protecting the batter from being deceived. All right. So there's a lot of pitchers that go like this, and they pause briefly. They go up, they pause briefly, and then they deliver. All right. But they do it every single time. So now guess what the batter does? They get used to that timing. So there was a pitcher that came up. Really good college baseball teams, there's 4 batters, 1 on deck, 2 in the dugout, timing the pitcher every single pitch. Okay? So if the pitcher does this, again, every single time, we're good. But if they only do it once with 2 strikes, now we have deception. Okay? Because those batters have been timing that pitcher from the previous 4 batters. Now he changes like that, beyond a brief pause, now we have to enforce that.
So it doesn't matter that in that sample you showed that pitcher's plant foot never touched the ground?
So if that plant foot touched the ground and he went again, now we have 2 forward steps. Now we would have a legal pitch. But that's exactly why the pitcher didn't touch the ground, is that reason. Yes, sir. I would look at warm-up pitches. I would look at every single pitch through the at-bat while they're in the field. Use every piece of information you can. If he does it the first time, I'm going to ask him, are you going to do that every single time? And if he says yes, I'm good. I'm good with it. All right, so... But if that's the only time he does it, which in this game, it was the only time he did it, the last pitch of the game. And I'm not saying the umpire judgment was wrong or right. I think we were surprised that it happened. I truly do. I think we as umpires were surprised that it happened.
So if he does it, like you said, in the count, 2 outs, 2 strikes, nobody on base, that's just an illegal pitch.
Yep. Time, illegal pitch.
Nobody's on base.
So if we have an illegal pitch with runners on base, yeah, it would be a balk. Yep.
Sean, I got a question.
So remind me what he does.
Hang the leg, shoulder shimmy a little bit, and deliver. And then guys like Trevor Bauer, he did it too. No leg lift at all, speed it up.
Does he do it every single time?
No, he mixes it up all the time.
Is it one continuous motion? Like, is he always moving, or is he?
He'll hang the leg up top, do like 2 or 3. I mean, you can look it up. He did it with the Royals all the time. Same with Nestor Cortez. With the Yankees, guys who are moving.
As long as something is moving.
As long as something is moving, they're good.
That kind of brings up another question. Are we in contact with the rubber? So like the MLB, obviously we're in college. MLB has a rule now specific to some players where if they're pushing off and they're not in contact with the rubber, then
Quarter calf rule.
So they can't leap. Like they can't.
They can't replay.
Yeah.
So they can leave as long as that back foot doesn't replant and gain new momentum. So if in the process of the delivery they push off and it causes them to leap, they're good. But if that pivot foot replants, you leave.
is this a process of consistency and you're going back to if he consistently does it as well?
So if you have a pitcher that is, in your opinion, leaping or jumping or replanting, but he's doing it every single time, that's something I need feedback because I'm going to go to the video.
If you're replanting, call it first time.
Yeah.
I call it every single time after that.
Yeah. I haven't seen a college pitcher.
As far as a replant, I don't know that anybody does that anymore because they basically ended Carter Catt's career by saying you can't do that. So
I'm not sure if this is live
Across
or not.
America, predicting the outcome of the big game
The other
just got a whole lot
example
more
that I
interesting.
wanted to show that's not popping up right now. All
Yeah,
right.
94 mile an hour sinker at the knees and
What's that?
well spotted by Vigu
Mute
outside
it.
corner.
Muted it. Let's see if this guy's in the windup. He is, which is good, and I think he's doing what I'm looking for. All right, that's actually perfect. So this is, see the technology on his hand? Every player could have what he has on his forearm right now. Every player on the diamond. Yep. On his glove hand. Yep. Yeah, the pitcher can't have anything on his throwing hand. But any other defensive player could have it on either hand. All right, because what the shortstop is going to play differently if it's a changeup versus a fastball, inside pitch, outside pitch. All right, so that is legal technology. Let's see if I want to see this step. All right, we're just going to come on. I want to see the step of the pitcher. Oh, no. And I might just demonstrate it up here to you guys. All right, it's not going to show me. So what we don't want to nitpick is the step backwards, okay? Step sidewards. We know they can only take one step forward. What we're not going to allow a pitcher to do in the windup position, step forward and then deliver. We are looking for that clear step forward. That is illegal. They can't do 2 forward steps. They could step sideways. They could just turn. They could step backwards. But there are pitchers out there that will step forward and then pivot. They cannot clearly step forward. So we talk about that. Guess when they're going to do that? Nope, they don't even do that with 2 strikes. They do it warming up. That is the way they're throwing all the time. And I have told the coaches that you can't step forward and then lift your leg and then step forward again. All right? Don't nitpick. Make it be a huge step forward. But there are pitchers out there that do that, and I don't know why. But they cannot step forward. All right, but the big rule change, again, briefly pause. And what the pitchers are trying to do, they're trying to get those batters off balance, which they can change their delivery. One continuous motion. a brief pause, but they can't stop. All right, they can't come to a complete stop. All right, clock. If a school has one clock, they want it on the scoreboard or left center, right center field. All right. If they can't do it in the outfield, they could do it behind home plate, off to the side. Okay, so they have the option. If there's one clock, center field, where the home plate umpire could see it, the catcher could see it, the batter could see it. If it's behind the home plate umpire, they want it off to a side so the base umpire can see it. The pitcher can see it. It's hard for the batter and catcher to see it. Home plate umpire can't see it. The reason why they do allow one clock, technology, electricity, getting the clocks operable. The ideal situation is 2 clocks, one behind home plate, one in the outfield. That is the ideal situation. And then 3 clocks, one in the outfield, 2 behind home plate. All right, so that's what you're going to have at TD Ameritrade. Most of Division I, they have 2 behind home plate and 1 in the outfield. Whatever the case may be, if you have a visual clock, I'm sure the opposing team has seen it by then, but just confirm at the plate meeting with the visiting coach, you're aware where the pitch clock is. So 150 seconds. Starting pitcher, relief pitcher crosses the warning track. So here we are, we're start of the game. The team breaks their huddle. They now take the field. The 150 seconds starts. How many pitches can they throw? As many as they want. All right, so our very first game, January 29th, turned on the live stream, and I see the home plate umpire saying, 2 pitches left, 1 pitch left. I know that's going to be a hard habit for me to break 2. All right, but that is not what we're doing anymore. What we're doing, 30 seconds left, 15 seconds left, and then now let's go. All right, so whether it's the base umpire and the home plate umpire reflecting it, 30 seconds left, base umpire, 15, home plate umpire, 15, mirroring it. So instead of saying 2 pitches, 1 pitch, we're saying 30 seconds, 15 seconds. The mechanics at 0, if they are not ready to play. Time, strike, 0-1, play. All right, this is a ball strike situation. So what cannot happen if we award a ball or strike because they're not ready to pitch or ready to bat? What can a coach not do? Can't argue. Coach, you can't leave the dugout. Here we go, play. Okay. Yes, sir.
I got a question. So in the pitch clock, 120 seconds rolls down. When it hits 0, do we get a pitch clock? Or does the batter have to be ready at 8 seconds?
So once we hit 0, play, now he gets the pitch clock.
Now he gets 20 seconds.
Yep. Now we get the, so it's really, returning pitcher, it's really 140 seconds at the end of the day.
So are we just making him throw down by the time it hits 0?
No, that pitcher has to be on the rubber, ready for us to say play when that reaches 0. Sorry, we're rolling. We're rolling, baby. They have unlimited pitches. They shouldn't have thrown 10. All right. Yeah, we're rolling with it. Any questions on the mechanics? All right, so again, when we're watching live stream, this is what we want. The base umpire does it every single time. 30, 15. All right, home plate umpire, you could either verbalize to the catcher 30 seconds, verbalize to the on-deck hitter 15 seconds. Again, the only thing that's different is we're not saying 2 or 1. We're saying 30, 15. That's the difference. Okay? And it was amazing. Coaches picked up on it right away. I got a call after the game. Hey, do your umpires know that we could throw unlimited pitches warming up? Because he kept on telling our catcher 2 and 1. All right, so coaches are aware of what's going on. All right, North Star, Dickinson State, Bellevue, Valley City, Mayville, Jamestown. I'm missing one. So enforcement for 30 seconds. New batter. Timer starts when previous play is over. What's that? Pitcher has the ball again. That is when the previous play is over. So we're going to start the 30 seconds. The batter now has to get inside the batter's box, and they must be ready to hit so that pitcher can throw within 30 seconds. Okay, so it's a 30-second. Again, no warning. Defensive timer starts when the coach crosses the foul line for a defensive conference. So here, assistant pitching coach wants to talk to the pitcher. Time. Coach crosses the foul line. You start your ready timer or you start your stopwatch. This is where I think it's difficult. North Star. All right. Who's keeping the time? Base umpire, right? Third base umpire, 3-person crew. Well, who's breaking up the conference? Home plate umpire. All right, so we have to have a mechanic. So if you're working North Star, if you're the base, point at your home plate umpire when there's 10 seconds left. How do we do that with the ready ref? Start your 20-second timer. Your 20-second timer goes off. Now we have 10 seconds left. You point to your home plate umpire. Home plate umpire starts walking out there within 9 seconds. Okay? We do not have to be putting it into play at 30. Coach has to be off in 30.
Has to be off.
Yep. So 9 seconds remaining. I'm walking out to the coach. Hey, guys, here we go. They get off.
So you go out, he's changing pitchers. So as soon as the relief pitcher crosses the track or comes out onto the field, we're in 120 seconds.
So the 120 is different than this.
Right.
So the 120 starts once they start leaving the field. Boom. Yep. This is the 30-second just for North Star. All right, and then offensive conference. Difference for offensive conference. Batter calls time because he wants to go talk to the coach. Sweet. Time. Start. All right, so we are starting that offensive conference quicker than a defensive conference. Again, start your ready ref, base umpire. When you get that buzz, as in 20 seconds has expired, point to home plate. Home plate umpire be like, all right, guys, 9 seconds left, let's go. All right, now they do have to be back in the box. Play. All right. So they are taking the delays out of the game. This year, this was up to conference selection. They don't have to do this. So North Star is the only conference that said yes. So we will see in the ICCAC, we'll see if the GPAC, if this protocol has ever changed. I don't remember any delay tactics in the ICCAC or GPAC, but the coaches in the North Star agreed they do want the 30 seconds enforced. There is no 30-second protocol. It's the same thing, right down the trip, clean off home plate, walk out.
Sean, is this only for coaching visits, or is this all defensive players? So if the shortstop comes in and says, hey,
Yep. So this is for all 6 defensive conferences. Yeah, so once that shortstop, hey, time, yep, we're going to grant you time. Boom, starts moving towards that pitcher. I'm going to start that 30. All right, so now we have the pitch clock. The 8 seconds action clock starts when the pitcher has the ball in the dirt circle. All right, so the batter has to be ready to hit. When does the batter have to be ready to hit by? How many seconds remaining? 8. So they really have 12. The batter has 12 seconds from the time the pitcher gets the ball. Now, if the batter disagrees with your call, you call looking strike, could they leave the batter's box? Yes, they can. All right. Yes, they can. So we're not doing this gesture anymore. They do not have to remain in the batter's box. All right. And the thought process is when they disagree with our call, from a coach's perspective, the batter just wanted to reset everything. So then when they left the batter's box and we said, get in the box, guess what the coaches and batters think we're doing as umpires? We're thinking we're hurrying them up, we're badgering them, where really all we were trying to do is prevent a pitch clock violation. So now they took the umpire out of it. Okay, so that was the reason why they took away the batter's box rule. They wanted to now allow the batter to reset, do whatever they need to do, and nothing perceptually is on us as an umpire telling them they have to do something different. Okay, so there is no quote-unquote batter's box rule this year. They just have to be back in the batter's box, looking at the pitcher, hands up within 12 seconds. Once that pitcher gets the ball back. And then now the pitcher must start their motion within 20 seconds, so they have 8. Now let's say the batter's quick. The batter's ready to rock and roll at 6 seconds. So there's 14 seconds left on this 20-second pitch clock. Can that pitcher hold on to the ball for 14 seconds? Absolutely. What if the batter asks for time within that 14 seconds? Are we giving the batter time? We are not. All right, so the pitcher, quote unquote, can freeze the batter. They just have to start their motion within 20 seconds. I will say this, umpires, when that pitcher is in a rhythm, do not allow the batter to call time, step out of the box to change that rhythm. All right, everybody's on the same action clock. 20 seconds, the batter just has to be ready to go at 12. All right. Enforcement, time, point to wrist, whoever's calling it. So if the clock is in the outfield, it's obviously going to be the home plate umpire. If the clock is behind us, or if the clock is on your belt, it's going to be the base umpire. And it's really quick. Time, pitch clock violation, and you're either going to give a strike signal or you're going to state ball and give the new count. 2-1, 1-2, play. Once that process is done, put that ball back in play. Do not even give players or coaches time to argue. We cannot argue balls and strikes. Cannot argue balls and strikes. Any questions on this? I will tell you the conference that had the most complaints last year of not enforcing this was the ICCAC. Okay, JUCO college baseball. And I told the coaches, give us a visual clock. If you give us a visual clock, we have no choice. Okay, but do not be that umpiring crew that does not enforce this. Oh yeah, 100. So I know this for sure at Iowa Western. Okay, so Iowa Western, this is what they did in their scrimmage. Pitcher's coming in, there's a runner on base. They're getting near that 20 seconds. And again, there's no visual clock, but it was at almost, they did it 5 times when it was at 18 seconds. Pick off, because they didn't want a pitch clock violation. So they just picked it off. They are timing in the dugouts, absolutely. Okay, so that's how I know Iowa Western was doing it. They were telling their pitchers to pick off as it was getting near the expiration of the pitch clock.
John,
Yep.
just a quick question. We don't have an on-field clock. How are you suggesting that we determine when we're at 12 seconds and the batter's not in the clock?
All right, so you could send your ready ref back in and get it reprogrammed, because you could do that. Because right now, if you have old ready refs, it's still at 10-second buzz, 20-second buzz. Well, if you really feel that buzz, how long does that buzz go off? A couple seconds. All right, so if I have my ready rep that's not reprogrammed, I'm starting the 20, I'm feeling a 10-second buzz, the buzz is over, 1/1000, time. Some people still use a stopwatch. I don't like that because now my eyes are going up and down. So those are the 2 ways I would suggest. If you have no ready ref, the ones you get right now are programmed. They're programmed 12, 20. They're programmed 120, 150. But I use a stopwatch for the 120, 150. Good question, though. All right, last new rule. All right. Getting the call right without video review. All right. None of our 3 conferences do we have video review. But guess what we do have? We have a partner. All right. So this is without video review, 100% certain you have information to give the calling umpire. All right. So we're not talking about pulled foot swipe tag. We're not talking about check swing. All right. Where we are waiting for my partner to ask for help. These situations, we are not waiting to ask for help. We are going to give information. All right, I have 100% knowledge that I have to give information to the calling umpire. Home run, fair versus foul. All right, believe it or not, a pole bender, if you're in the middle of the field, you actually have the better look. Does that ball curve around the pole, or did that ball, before getting to the pole, was foul? You in the middle of the field do have a better look sometimes. And if you go out on a trouble ball with nobody on base and the home plate umpire has information that it's a home run versus a foul ball, that home plate umpire, get together with your crewmate. Those are the 2 plays I have off the top of my head. Home run versus ground rule double. True story. We have white banners in the outfield. All right. One umpire thought it was a ground rule double because they lost sight of the ball. They thought it bounced over. The other umpire definitely knew it was a home run. All right. That umpire who knew it was a home run, even though his partner called the ground rule double, you have to go give information. All right. Foul tip dropped. All right. So we have foul tip, and you see your home plate umpire go strike, or you see foul tip and you see your home plate umpire say, caught the ball, strike 3 out. You as a base umpire, time, go give information to your partner. Okay? Foul ball caught versus no catch. So anywhere it's foul. So this comes up all the time, that catcher. All right, so home plate umpire is doing everything he possibly can to rip off his mask and see where the catcher's going and catch it. But all of a sudden, turns, and he turns perfectly to the base umpire, and the ball's not caught, and the home plate umpire says out. Base umpire, you saw that it wasn't caught. It's a foul ball. You could change that anytime. A foul ball we can change anytime. Error in judgment because lost sight of the ball. If you've umpired enough games or long enough, we've all been at home plate, and we called out, and then the catcher picks up the ball off the ground. Everyone have that play? All right, to avoid that, show me the ball, show me the ball. But that happens. Base umpire, call time. You go and give that information to the calling umpire. We do have a lot of spectator interference. This is reaching over. All right, so reaching over any umpire, if you have that information, go give it. Balks with pitcher's foot off the rubber. So let's say the home plate umpire says, that's a balk. The base umpire saw the pitcher disengage, which now makes the pitcher a fielder. Give that information, get it right. Changing call from foul to fair. All right, this one's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough in a 2-person crew. 3-person crew, though, you can have one umpire get blocked. A diving first baseman, a bounding ball past first base. All right, whose call is it? Bounding ball beyond first base, diving first baseman. The base umpire, right? It's that glass plane. But who got in the base umpire's way? The first baseman just dove in front of the ball, so they lost sight of it. So now if I, as a base umpire, change my call from foul and my home plate umpire says, Sean, that ball hit the base, we now have to change it to fair. When we change it to fair, now we have to place runners. Err on the side of caution. Give batter runner first base. Give all of the runners one base. Unless it bounces off that base and goes into the right field corner, now you could give more bases. But err on the side of safety and caution. If you're changing a call from foul, position A umpire, to fair, home plate umpire saw it hit first base. All right.
Can you
Go ahead.
change that call if it's between home and base?
So no, you can't. It's a great question there. So now we're talking about a touch. So now we're not talking about a bounding ball beyond first or third. We're talking about a pitcher touching the ball versus a pitcher not touching the ball. And let's say home plate umpire says foul, as in the ball never touched the pitcher's glove, and it continued to go foul. If the base umpire definitely has the touch on the glove for fair ball, we cannot change that. Great question there. Catch, no catch in outfield. All right. So any catch in foul territory we could change. Any catch in the outfield we could change. Only if it's the third out in the infield. We could then change it to, if I go no catch as a base umpire, and my home plate umpire is 1,000% sure that that was a catch in the infield and it's the third out, now we could change that to a catch. And then last one, I do want to talk about this last one, hit by pitch situations. Number one, did it hit the batter? Did it hit the elbow? Did it hit the foot? Number two, did the batter roll into it, get the knee into it? All right. Anyone have situations like this last year? All right. Were you the calling umpire or were you the non-calling umpire? Yep.
Usually calling. I feel like it's the ones off the knob and.
Okay. So you as the calling umpire, you don't know. What's the first thing you're doing? Time. And then what are you going to do? Yeah. And don't hide it either. You know, like, please come here. Let's talk about this. All right. When you're the umpire farthest away, what are you processing? What are you looking for?
Well, you're looking at the reaction of the batter, and you're also listening for the sound if it's flying.
Yep.
Especially off aluminum bats.
So sound and reaction. Sound and reaction. What's another thing we could do as a crew with the batter when it comes to hit by pitch? Say it. Yeah, where did it hit you? Take off the glove. Roll up your sleeve. We want to see, is there a mark? We can use that information. Use as much information as you can, all right, to now put together what happened. For
Years ago, I thought, we're not having that batter take his glove off.
I think the philosophy really changed 3 years ago. Was it Derek Jeter? Yeah, I think it was a Derek Jeter play where he literally took off his glove and showed the umpire. So it might even been more than 3 years ago if it was Derek Jeter. But it's just, we want to get the calls right. And we don't have video review, but we have knowledge, we have experience. We know how players, batters react when it hits them versus when it doesn't hit them. All right, so use that information. All right, but this is getting the call right. Non-calling umpires, go to your partner at the completion of the play. You are going to ask the calling umpire, what did you see? All right, so I'm going to go back to my play where I was the base umpire, A position, ground ball, first base. I literally told my partner, I guessed. I had to make a call, and I guessed wrong. Because my home plate umpire, my partner then says, all right, I saw the batted ball hit first base. All right, but ask the calling umpire what they saw first. All right, and based on their confidence, you're going to know, are they confident or not? I will tell you this, if you come to me as a non-calling umpire, I'm going to switch the call every single time. Because guess who call it becomes? Comes my partner's call. All right, so all the heat is off of me, and I know you're not coming to me unless you're 100% sure. So yes, I am going to get together, but
As a crew, do you decide who talk? If you switch to who
absolutely.
who goes and talks to the coach? Is it the umpire and said?
And that's where we're coming at number 6 on here. All right. So non-calling umpire, then give your information. Calling umpire, you make final decision. It is your call. I'm telling you right here from my experience, if somebody's coming to me in these situations with 100% knowledge, I am changing my call every single time. I did it yesterday in basketball. All right, I'm changing my call with your judgment every single time.
But the mechanics is if you're changing the call, say I'm home plate umpire.
Yep.
I made the wrong call. We got together. Position A umpire says, "Hey, I 100% saw this." He's making that call.
The home plate umpire, the original calling umpire, is changing their call. Okay.
And he's the one that knows the talks.
Absolutely. So I'm going to, before we leave there, all right, we know this coach is going to come out because he was expecting this, but we're changing it to this. And I am going to, with my partner, I'm going to say, all right, this is what I saw. You brought information. This is what happened. And I'm telling the coach that. Because guess what that coach is going to do another half inning? Not yell at me. They're going to go talk to the second guy. And guess what we need that second guy saying? The same exact thing. Same exact thing. Okay? But yeah, it is going to be the calling umpire who changes their own call. The calling umpire, tell your partner exactly what you're going to say to that coach. That way that coach goes, talks to the non-calling umpire. We're saying the same thing. All right? If we don't get together until a coach comes out in one of these 10 situations, okay, we need to get the coach back to their position before we gather. We want to get together before the coach comes out. Keep them in the dugout. Because if we keep them in the dugout, guess what they could do? They could come out for an explanation. Why did you change the call? They come out. We do not want this. This pitcher is a bad pitcher. That coach cannot be there when the umpires are talking. The coach has to be back in the dugout, has to be back in the coach's box. Once they go back, since they've already been out one time, whether we change the call or not, they cannot come out a second time. Cannot. So as an umpire crew, we want to get together on these calls before a coach comes and asks us. All right? And again, it's on these situations, 100% knowledge, where we can change the call, we go give information. We need courageous umpires to give information to your partner when they are incorrect. Yep. Got to stop. If you continue, you're at risk of ejecting yourself. Yep. All right. NAIA modifications, we're going to take a break, then we're going to take the test. We're going to come back and take the test after a break. All right, so NAIA rule modifications, this is for North Star, this is for GPAC, re-entry for 8 starters. And we say 8 starters because it's not for the pitcher or designated hitter. All right, they cannot re-enter a DH. They cannot re-enter a pitcher. Courtesy runners for pitcher/DH. It has to be the pitcher/DH. It's not pitcher or DH. Pitcher is the same player, pitcher DH. Or for the catcher. Cannot run for a pitch hitter who hit for the catcher unless the catcher re-enters. And all the catcher has to do is step out of the dugout, wave their hand, and now they could go courtesy run for the catcher. Okay? So home plate umpires, this is very important. And we do a very bad job, I think, in March, April, and then all of a sudden May comes, and those May games are really, really important. What's the signal for re-entry in NAIA baseball? Anyone know what the signal is to the score press box? Do that one more time, Bill. Perfect. Did everyone see that up there? All right. Understand what I'm trying to say? Don't hide it. Make sure everybody sees it. All right. This is re-entry. And then you want to point to the person that just re-entered. All right. If it's a courtesy runner, what's the signal for courtesy runner? All right. Did everyone see what everyone's doing? Don't hide it. Make sure everybody sees it. All right, so if it's going to be a re-entry for a catcher, re-entry, catcher, and now they see another person come out of the dugout, courtesy runner for the catcher. All right, over-communicated. Once again, when we do that, film will not lie. Umpire never told me they re-enter for the catcher. Well, let's go take a look at the film. There's the live stream here. Wow, look at that umpire. Going like this, like a clear as day. Coach, like, I got nothing else for you. The umpire did exactly what we asked him to do. Okay? Courtesy runner cannot be removed from base to be a pinch hitter. They can score and then hit. All right, so there's a good question on the NAIA test on that one. And then courtesy runner must be an eligible substitute and not had played in the game previously. And the courtesy runner can only run for one position in an inning. So if I'm writing down courtesy runner, I'm also writing down the inning the courtesy running. So let's say the first inning they courtesy ran for the pitcher DH. Cool. Third inning, catcher gets on. It could be the same courtesy runner because it's a different inning. All right, and now the other coach is going to come out. They can't do that. Yes, they can. It was first inning. Now it's third inning.
Is there a penalty if they do attempt it?
The penalty is you remove the illegal player. You just make it right.
Put them back in the dugout, you're not
Yep.
removing them from the game.
Correct. Yep. Like, there's what they're going to say. Like, let's say number 17 courtesy ran for the pitcher DH. Later in the inning, same inning, catcher's on. Here comes number 17. No, time. 17, you can't pinch run same inning. Ejections. All participants have a minimum of 1 game suspension in NAIA. All right, so we'll get into ejection reports again, conference by conference here in a second. All right, we are going to take, what time is it here? It's 11:30, perfect. Take a 10-minute break. So at 11:40, we're going to come back. I'll have the NAIA test up. All right, we will take the NAIA test together. That way everybody could leave here with the 25 out of 25 is the hope. All right, and as we go through those questions, if you have a question, please, let's answer the question. So 10-minute break, we'll start now. All right. We are back. All right, so for this portion, I am going to start the test. Those of you who are online, if you have not put your name in the chat box yet, please put your name in the chat box for attendance purposes. Obviously, one of the things I'll know is the completion of the test. But I am in RQ Plus, which is RefQuest. And that's really where you, if you don't have a RefQuest account, it's refquest.com, and then register. You create what you want to register for. The pretty neat thing about RefQuest, I've had questions from umpires here. Do I have to register to be a college umpire? And I always say, get all the information first. When we get to the scheduling and the signing, can you fit college baseball into your schedule? If you know you could fit your college baseball into your schedule, even though I don't have games for you right away today, let's see here who has a lot of availability, flexibility in the past. T, have you picked up college baseball games throughout the season, like on crazy days, crazy times? Yeah. Okay, so if you have a flexible schedule, I might say, yeah, go ahead and register, because if you are registered, I could use you a lot. If you're not registered, I could only use you so much. But it is refquest.com. I could also get you in. If you are not in RefQuest, you don't plan on registering, let me know so I could get you into RefQuest under ICCAC, under North Star. Because I could still create an account without you registering in RefQuest. But we are in baseball. We are going to NAIA. Where are we at? NCAA baseball. I have to go to the correct one. NAIA baseball. All right, so I am going to continue, and this closes February 28th, 2025. All right, so NAIA baseball umpires, February 28th is the deadline, so Friday, thank you. And I'm going to go to question number 1. So question number 1. The designated hitter is entered in the game to play right field in the 7th inning. In the bottom of the 7th, he is pinch hit for. In the 8th inning, he is re-entered to play right field. Is this action allowable? I said no, all right, because he was a DH. Only 8 players could re-enter. DH cannot re-enter. Pitcher cannot re-enter. He was not the starting player in right field in the 7th inning. All right, so that answer is no. As we go through this, if there's any question on here that we disagree with, let's not leave this meeting with disagreements. That's why we have meetings like this. All right, so everyone good with this? Yes, sir.
If he re-enters and for the DH, the DH can then go play defense.
Say that one more time.
If he re-enters for the DH can then go play defense.
All right, so I'm getting the lineup card in my head.
So the DH is batting 6th.
Okay.
He gets pinch hit for in the 6th hole. Okay?
Okay.
He's out of the game.
He's out of the game. Correct.
Now he re-enters as the DH in the 6th hole. He can't re-enter as the DH, period?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that DH, whatever player numbers that DH, cannot re-enter. Yes?
You sent me the test via email. Is it the same questions here?
It might not be in the same order.
I didn't see the same questions. Okay. One in the email is number 21. 21?
All right, question number 2. Go for it.
Yeah, with no outs and runners on second and third, R3 runs towards home on a squeeze play. The catcher steps in front of first base side of home plate prior to receiving the ball, allowing the entire front half of the plate open to R3. But the catcher is still able to catch the ball and tag R3 out. The catcher then sees R2 running from third, and he throws the ball to F5, who tags him out. What is the correct ruling? A, interference on the catcher, and R3 is safe, and the batter remains at bat while R2 is out because he is advancing at his own risk of being put out. B, interference on the catcher, and R3 is safe, and the batter is awarded first base while R2 is out because he is advancing at his own risk of being put out. Or C, interference on the catcher, and R3 is safe, and the batter is awarded first base while R2 advances to third base with a balk charge to the catcher. Oh, there's a lot going on there. Since you highlighted C, I'll go ahead and take that one.
All right, that's what I have as the answer.
As it being a balk.
Anyone have anything different on their courtesy? Have a confused look on your face? Okay. So I'm going, and like I said, I got the rule references here. I'm going to read this.
It makes sense that's what it is, because it should be
Yeah.
dead ball properly.
So it says, any runner attempting to steal the catcher's interference with the batter's swing shall be awarded the base the runner is attempting to reach. If the runner is not attempting to steal the catcher's interference, the individual is not entitled to the next base unless forced to advance because of the batter being awarded first base. So in this one, we have a squeeze play, so the runner is advancing. Exception. If with the runner on third base and trying to score by means of a squeeze play or a steal, the catcher or any other fielder steps on or in front of any part of the home base without possession of the ball, or touches the batter or their bat, the pitcher shall be charged with the balk. The batter shall be awarded first base on interference, and the ball is dead. So that's where we're getting C. All right, so interference on the catcher. R3 is safe, and the batter is awarded first base. R2 advances to third base with a balk charge to the pitcher. Okay, so that's where we're getting all that fun answers. All right, so home plate umpires, you have a runner on third base, and you have potential plays at home, steals at home, squeeze at home. Start processing plays in your head. Pitch to pitch before the bat. All right, number 3.
Team A, catcher is up to bat with a 1-1 count. The batter takes strike 2 called. The batter begins to argue and is ejected. The substitute batter for Team A's catcher eventually gets on base. Team A coach requests to use a courtesy runner, stating the substitute will be the new catcher. Should the umpire allow the courtesy runner? It's for catcher of record, is it not?
Correct.
So no.
Correct. So this is no. So again, first series of the year happened. This ejection didn't happen in the first inning, but catcher gets on base. The catcher did not catch yet because it's the top of the first inning, so they want a courtesy runner for the catcher. So the coach argue, he didn't catch a pitch yet. He's not the catcher. That's the exception. Like, he is the catcher of record in the top of the first inning. So this one, he's not, all right, because it's a sub for the catcher. We don't know if he's going to be the catcher. Okay? Yeah, once he gets into that position, now it becomes a catcher of record.
I get it. Sucks that we can't use that one, but it just doesn't.
Need me to blow it up more?
No, we're just looking for it on the paper.
Okay.
10. Question 10. So right here.
All right.
And then you're good. We'll pick you up.
If a player has concussion symptoms and is removed from the game, he cannot re-enter after being evaluated by a qualified professional. The answer is, if he's been evaluated by a qualified professional, I would say yes.
Yep, absolutely. All right, and if it's a head and neck injury, concussion, do they actually ever leave the game? They never left the game. All right, so that's not even considered a substitute. This isn't considered a re-entry. They are allowed to leave the game for a concussion protocol, and on the lineup card, they never left the game. They never left the game. Number 5, Bill?
Bases loaded with 2 outs in the bottom of the last inning. Score is tied. Batter 6 is hit by the pitch and awarded first base. Runner 3 legally touches home plate, and batter 6 legally advances to and touches first base. Runner 2 starts towards third base, but joins the celebration near first base before he touches third base. Which of the following is correct? R2 is out only if the defensive properly appeals R2 missing third base and the game is continued. B is R2 is out for abandoning his effort to run the bases and the game is continued. C, the game is over. The run scores as only B6 needed to go to first and R3 touch home plate. Or D, R2 is out for making a travesty of the game and the game is continued.
What number is it?
I had to read.
Oh, my bad.
Jeez. I believe for everything everybody has to go to their required bag for everything to count. So 2 outs. Sean says C.
It is C.
Like
It
there's
is
so much
C.
going on.
All right, the runner has to score home. The batter has to touch first base. Whether R1 touches second, whether R2 touches third, does not matter whatsoever. Okay, so home plate umpire just stay there until they touch home plate, and then base umpire make sure they touch first base. If, as we're reading, and some of these questions are easy, if you just know what the correct answer is, you just have to say the correct answer if you have that answer. Who's the next one up? Go for it, Griffin.
B3 requests and is granted time to talk to the third base coach while they are conferring. A defensive team coach motions a pitcher to quickly meet near the foul line. As the offensive conference concludes, the defensive team coach returns to the dugout. Which of the following are accurate? A, neither an offensive nor defensive conference is charged. B, only an offensive conference is charged. C, both offensive and defensive conferences are charged. Or D, only defensive conference is charged. C,
All right.
both.
Both will be charged. All right, so this is what we got to be aware of. Usually this happens when the defense talks to the pitcher, and then the base runner leaves their base to talk to the third base coach. If they both go talk to a coach, they are both charged a conference. We have to communicate that.
So I've seen, like, they have the defense, the coach goes to the mound, and then, like, there's 2 or 3 runners, they all go over and talk to the.
In college baseball, that's an offensive conference. They have to stay on the base, except if there's a pitching change. Now, pitching change, they could leave their base. But if it's just a trip, it's just a conference. Yep.
So super nitpicky here, where you've got R1 as the first base coach allowed to talk to him in that situation.
Yep. Correct. Yep, because they have not left the base.
Same thing if they're on third base.
Yep. All right, number 7.
On the first pitch of the game, batter 1 is crowding the front edge of the batter's box and legally hits the pitch. His stride through with his swing places his front foot on the ground in front of and outside of the batter's box while his back foot remains in the box. The batted ball bounces up and accidentally hits B1's front leg. The ball rolled toward third, but B1 beats the throw to first base. And the correct ruling is, I would say B, he's out.
Yep. All right, interference, hitting the batter runner outside of the batter's box. He is now out. If there are runners on base, send them back. But that was the first batter of the game. So, number 8, Dan.
R2 and R3, nobody out. Batted ball, hit to F4. R3 breaks towards the plate to score and is caught in a rundown between third and home. During the rundown, R2 advances to third. Also, during the rundown, R3 returns to third and runs past the base towards the outfield. R3 is tagged after he crosses the bag. At the end of the play, the batter runner is at second and R2 is at third. What is the situation before the next pitch? A, bases loaded, no outs are recorded on the play. B, 1 out, R2 returns to second, batter runners at first. C, 1 out, R2 stays at third, and batter runner is at second. D, 2 outs, batter runner at second. Let's see. So he tagged the guy breaking towards home.
Yeah, so the runner who started at third was tagged while off the bag.
Okay.
And then after that tag, we have the batter runner at second. We have the runner that's on second, now touching third.
And we started with nobody out. So let's go with C.
And that's what I have as well. All right. Tagged R3 when he's off the bag, out. So now R2 can occupy third base. Okay. Number 9.
I'm gonna have to.
What's up?
Huh? I'm gonna have to get up there.
Go ahead.
I can't read that
You're
from
good. Just grab that with you. You're good. You don't have to push it in.
Okay. Sorry, my eyes are bad. That's why I umpire. With R1 stealing on the pitch, B2 hits a ground ball to F6. It throws to second base, but R1 is safe. F4 then throws the first to attempt to put out B2, who had not reached first base. But the ball gets by F3, goes out of play, which is the following is that or accurate. A, R1 stays to second, B2 stays to first, B, R1 scores B2 to second, C, R1 to third, B2 to second, D, R1 scores B2 to second. I will say R1 goes to the, so, yep, B.
All right, so all runners get 2 bases. Second play, 2 bases from the time of throw. All right, so since R1 had achieved second base safely, 2 bases, third and home. Batter runner did not touch first base. 2 bases, first base, second base. All right, number 10. Josh?
Let me find it online so I can read it.
Fine tar. Oh. Nope. Josh Henwood backed up there.
Sorry, Josh. Wrong Josh.
No, you're good.
Anybody know the number of the email?
Oh, this is actually my test.
Number 20.
The other one.
Yeah. So
Here we go.
a batter is always out when using a bat found with pine tar beyond 18 inches from the end of the handle. False.
All right, it is false. What happens if they have pine tar beyond the 18 inches? Remove the bat, okay, and then warn. It's remove the bat and warn. Number 11, Steve?
A defensive player, it's hard to read.
You're good.
A defensive player may, while not in possession of the ball, impede the progress of a runner. A defensive player, not in possession of the ball, impedes the progress of a runner. True or false? False?
Absolutely. And what's that called if they do? That's obstruction. Okay? It's type 2 obstruction, so let it play out. And then award had obstruction not occurred. Yeah. All right, Eric, number 12.
Hey, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. Team B, this is question number 9 on the email.
Nice.
Team B trails by 1 run in the bottom of the 7th with 1 out with runners at first and second. The batter hits a high pop fly towards first base foul line, and R1 runs into F3, causing him to fall, but he is still able to get up and catch the ball while standing in the first base coach's box. Which is the following is correct? Batter runner is called out, R2 remains at second, and R1 remains at first. B, game over, team A wins. Or C, R2 remains at second, R1 is called out for interference, and the batter returns to the bat. I would say A.
I have
Batter
A.
runner is called out, R2 remains at second, and R1 remains at first.
Everyone else have the same thing?
Why wouldn't you call the direct interference? Why wouldn't the runner be out?
So, so since we have a foul ball, it's got to be a fair batted ball. Now,
And technically, that's actually, when you go 5, it's first and second, less than 1 out.
trail one.
I've got C.
You got C?
Yeah. So, because it is not an infield fly, because it's not fair, interference is an immediate dead ball. R1 is out. Batter runner returns to bat.
All right, so this is note 3, page 85. If a runner is declared out for interference with a fielder who is attempting to field a foul batted ball, and there are less than 2 outs when the interference occurs, the batter will complete their at-bat. If it's the 3rd out occurs due to interference, the current batter will be the first batter up following the inning. So with that rule, R2 remains at second, R1 is called out, and the batter returns to bat with a strike added.
If it was a fair ball,
Yes,
it would be an infield fly, the batter would be out.
correct.
And also the runner.
Then it would be a double play if it's a fair ball. That's what it was. All right, so number 12 here, but it's number 9 on the practice test. It is C. R2 remains at second. R1 is called out for interference. Once interference is called, all right, now the ball is dead. Now you're going to return the batter to bat. Number 13.
I have a question still on that. Because in the question it says the pop fly toward down the first base line. It doesn't say it's foul. It just says down the line. So we have to determine first if it is actually fair or foul.
In foul territory.
You do have to wait the interference before calling time.
Yeah.
To determine whether it's fair or foul. But you point at it.
Causes the fall, and he catches the ball while standing in the first base coach. Okay, got
Yep.
it. Right, thanks.
All right, go for it, Curtis.
Okay. When a coach claims that an umpire's decision violates NCAA rules, the umpire in chief must. I have all of the above.
All right, so this is NAIA. I have this as A and C. We cannot play a game under protest in NAIA. If a coach can protest a game, but what are we to do? We suspend it. We go to the locker room. We get in the rule book. We come back out. We solve it. All right, so a game can be protested, but it cannot be played under protest. We take care of it right then and there. It has happened twice in my duties as a supervisor, where I got a call, the umpire's in the locker room asking the rules question. All right, so you can call me. You can call another umpire who you know has a lot of street cred and get it resolved. But if you go out and say, nope, this is what the rule says, this is what we're going with, a coach can't after the fact say, Sean, we played this game under protest. Because a coach did try to do that one time. I'm like, no, you can't do that. All right? Because we're not going to ship them back later in the season and pick up where it is. So they can protest, yes. You just suspend the game, get the rule book, take care of it on site. Correct, before the next pitch. That's another very important point. They can't come to you half inning later and say, hey, you screwed up that rule with one out. It's too late. Too late to protest that. Okay? All right. Number 14. Go ahead, Gary.
A pitcher may use any color glove but white. Gonna go false.
A pitcher may use any color glove but white. What makes that false?
Gray.
All right. Yeah, that bone gray. Cannot use bone gray. I did ask coaches throughout the preseason if there are pitcher's gloves they have questions on. Is it legal or illegal? Send me a picture now. I did not get any pictures, so hopefully they're all legal. Go ahead, Tyler.
With 2 outs in the 6th inning, the catcher is pitch hit 4, and the pitch hitter draws a walk. The coach then decided to re-enter the catcher and courtesy run for him. Is this action allowable? It's B, no.
All right, so think about what did the coach do? What was the order the coach did actions?
Oh, did he read?
So he pinch hit.
He pitch hit, and then re-entered.
Yep.
So it is.
Yep, so this is allowable. And umpires, this is where it's important. Circle, re-enter, then courtesy runner, and then point. Number 16, Scott.
1 and 2 count, 1 out. R1 stealing on the pitch. The batter swings and misses the pitch, his momentum taking him over the plate, hindering the catcher's attempted throw to retire R1. The home plate umpire calls batter interference while R1 reaches second base safely. Which of the following is correct? R1 remains at second. Batter is out for interference. The batter is out. I can't read that one because it's orange, but I'm going to guess. The batter is out on strikes, and R1 is out for interference. R1 is returned to first base, and the batter is out for interference. You can see. So 1 and 2 count. Swings and misses. So I think the batter's out. He swung and missed. You're saying B?
I'm saying B.
R1 is out for interference. So the batter is out on strikes, and R1 is out for interference.
So if the count was 1-1, what would we do? 1-1, we would go C.
Yeah,
all right, strike 2, time, that's interference. Batter, you're out, return the runner back. But since it's 1 ball, 2 strikes, the batter is already out on strike 3, we still need to get an out on interference. Okay? So, number 17. Go ahead, Brian.
When the pitcher DH is replaced by as the DH, they can subsequently move to a defensive position and then return as the DH. It's false.
100% false. Once you have a DH, enter a defensive position, the DH is gone. And again, since they started as the DH, they cannot re-enter. All right, so that's that. I think it's later on in the test. 18.
B1's batted ball strikes the ground and bounces up to accidentally make contact with the barrel of B1's bat while the bat is over fair ground. B1, at the time, is still holding the bat and has 1 foot in the batter's box and the other in the air. The correct ruling is foul ball remains live, B1 is out. going to go with
It is foul ball. So what's the difference between this question and the first question with the batter crowding and the follow through out of the batter's box? Foot in the air versus now the foot on the ground outside of the batter's box. This one, since the foot is in the air, it's not outside the batter's box yet. So it's just boom, foul ball, time, hit the batter while the batter's in the box. Okay. All right, long one. Team A, number 1 is starting F9A2. And this one's question 7 on the test if you're looking at it on test. Actually, you want to know what? I'm going to take this one. All right, I feel sorry for him. But you'll have the next one. All right, so Team A has number 2 as their starting right fielder. On the first pitch of the game, Team B's batter, number 1, hits a line drive to the right field wall. Fielder A2 slams into the wall trying to make the catch and is injured. Play is finished. Athletic trainers, coaches check on A2. He's removed from the game to be cleared from concussion symptoms. So on our lineup card, are we making any changes whatsoever? No. 0 changes. 0. Nada. None. The inning ends. Only 7 more pitches. In the bottom of the first inning, A2 is due up third. Medically cleared of any concussion. A2 hits the spot. Returns to right field. Top of the second inning. Bottom of the 5th inning, A2's pinch hit for, and when the top of the 6th inning starts, Team A head coach informs the home plate umpire that A2 is re-entering the game. So when he's pitch hit for, that is now the first time we are writing on our lineup card. That's the first time he left the game. So he re-enters in the 6th inning. Team B's head coach is livid and wants the out nullified because A2 should not be allowed in the game. Is A2 a legal player? And the answer is yes. He did not leave the game when being looked at for concussion. He is still in the game. So umpires, if you have this, it would, yes, this is a legal player. When that player comes out due to concussion protocol, I would go up to the other team and let them know that is not a substitute in right field. The player in right field is still A2. That is still number 2 on their lineup card. That way they're not making scratches and changes on their lineup card that's in their dugout. All right, so go out of your way and really over-communicate that. Gary?
Who's the medical personnel in the GPAC? I mean, just the athletic trainers?
Yep. No, it's the athletic trainers. So they have to take training to look for concussion protocol. And it's every college conference. Like, when things change in your schedule, we're like, oh man, this is so inconvenient as an umpire, da-da-da. You don't even want to know what they have to do to change sites, change game times. It's crazy. And one of them is an athletic trainer. Every college contest has to have a certified athletic trainer at that game. So just like I find umpires, they find certified athletic trainers too.
So in that situation, if it's like multiple innings that he's out of concussion protocol, he's fine until he's up to bat again?
Correct. Then they have to make a decision. So the question is, all right, let's say concussion protocol, and let's say he was the 9th hitter in the lineup. Yeah, they have till he comes up to bat, and who's going to bat. So, all right, let's see if this one's easier for you. Go for it.
With the bases loaded and 1 out, B5 hits a high pop up towards left field. F6 backs up onto the outfield grass and camps under the ball. The infield fly is called as F7 comes crashing in and calls for the ball, which hits his glove and drops. R3 scores while other runners hold. F6 retrieves the ball and throws to second in an effort to force R1. Which of the following statements is or accurate? I would say A.
All right, B5 is out, and A3 scores, or sorry, R3 scores. All right. R1 and R2 retain their bases, so that's accurate. So R1 is out and R2 retains his base. That is inaccurate. So I got A, B. All right, so why is B5 out?
Infield fly.
Infield fly, batter is out. All right, Now, since that ball dropped, what can the runners do?
Advance at their own risk.
They can advance at their own risk, or they can stay. So there is no force out. They're not forced to do anything. All right, number 21. We back. All right, go for it.
When a potential altercation breaks out, the umpire should do which of the following, specifically regarding player, not coach, ejections? Eject all players that were deemed to have left their position, the bench, or bullpen, regardless of their actions and proximity to the altercation. Eject only the players whose actions, both physical and or verbal, are deemed to be contributing to altercation, and allow the conference to determine if there are additional players or sanctions that need to be imposed. Eject only the players that are physically involved in a fight and allow the conference to take care of the rest. A. I'm going to go with A.
All right, it is A. Again, that's that new rule. All right, any player deemed to have left their position, do not leave it up to the conference office, please. Do the best you possibly can on the field. We will assist. All right. Number 22, back to me.
Yes.
Okay. A double first base is being used with no one on base. Batter swings and misses on a pitch in the dirt, and the ball hits the catcher's right shin guard and bounces a few feet towards the first base side dugout. Which of the following is an accurate statement? The batter runner should run towards the white base, and the catcher at F3 should utilize the orange base. The batter runner can only use the white base. That is false. F3 can only use the orange base. That is false. So it is A. And again, should. It's not must. Should. Number 23. Go for it.
Assistant coaches are not allowed to leave the dugout or coach's box to appeal, question, or argue a call unless they are the acting head coach. I would say true.
That is true. Who's the only one that could appeal? Head coach, and where can they go? All right, fair foul line, or if it's a play at home plate, outside the dirt circle. All right, number 24.
Team A coach gives umpire lineup card at the home plate conference without the bat testing sticker for the day on it. Which of the following is correct? Eject Team A head coach and forfeit the game. I would love to do that. Eject Team A head coach but allow the game to be played. Ask someone from the Team A bench to bring a bat with the approved sticker on it and make note of it on the game card. A.
It's not A.
Is it C?
It is C.
That makes more sense.
All right, it's C. All right, so they are to have the bat sticker on a lineup card. If you get a lineup card without the bat sticker, again, this is what you want to do. What sticker am I looking for as a home plate umpire today? Number 25, and then we're going to go back to the one question. There was one question we're going to review.
T's being a whiner, so we're skipping him. I just want to put that on record.
Okay.
Team A is entered a courtesy runner number 1 as R2. The batter strikes out, but R2 advances to third base on a steal. Prior to the next batter, Team A's head coach calls time and tells the home plate umpire that number 1 is no longer courtesy run and will become the pinch hitter in the lineup. Should the home plate umpire allow the substitution? You can't pull a courtesy runner to become a batter.
Correct. So should we allow it?
No.
Do not allow it. All right, the question we're going to go back to is the third base where you got tagged off at third base. Kelly McNary online stated it should be passing. Yep. What color? It was a rundown one. There it is. So R2, R3, 0 out, batted ball, hit to F4, R3 breaks towards the home plate to score, and is caught in a rundown between third and home. During the rundown, R2 advances to third base. Also during the rundown, R3 returns to third and runs past the base towards the outfield. So at that point, that's where he's saying we have passing. All right, so since R3 went towards the outfield, R2 has passed R3, is what he is saying. So now he's saying he's D, 2 outs, because we have passing. R2 is out for passing. Now R3 is off the bag, being tagged out, and then batter runner is at second. And if you take a look at the diagram on page 88, is where it has the passing diagram. And it literally has a line dissecting third base. So once R3 goes beyond third base to go to the outfield, R2 has passed R3. All right, so that, now talking it through that way, does everyone agree with the passing there? Okay. That was on page 88. And then we talked about the interference on the foul ball. So what it has here, it has a line dissecting. So in front of third base, so once he gets to the base and R2's on the base, we have passing. Yeah, but page 88 is it. All right, so those of you, if this is your first time taking the test, make sure all these boxes or circles are green. That means you have completed them. And then if you have time to double check it, submit your answers, submit your test, testing home. And do they let us view results? So right now we got 23 out of 25. All right, so there was 2 incorrect that we went over. So we switched the passing one. And Scott Landing, I had C, kind of brought this up last year. So that's definitely one of them we got to take a look at, is the passing one. So. So
R2 would have to pass third base.
So the other thing with this test, you get 2 attempts at it. Okay, so if you're online, you take it 23 out of 25. We have mentorship. I know I'm going to reach out to probably Aaron Christians, Connor Singheisen. What do they have? But then I really think that's the most important part of these tests. You take it, you get your answers, start calling other umpires, start talking rules. Let's figure out which 2 we got incorrect. Submit it a second time, get 100%. All right, so you do get 2 times to submit it. You do not have to get 100%. You need to get 80% or more. All right, so right now with these 23 out of 25, we got a 92. We will have people eligible for postseason play. And that's the big thing for the test. Registration is to be able to work. You have access to the rule book, you have access to video, you have access to RefQuest. Test, you have to be passing the test for postseason play. All right, postseason play. All right, 12. All right. Where do I want to pick up? I'm going to pick up here. All right, so this has been a big ask of our coaches, is our observation focus. All right, so I created, I shouldn't say a lot of local leaders here in Omaha, we actually had meetings and trainings over what is going to be an efficient way to observe umpires, and how can we make it for everybody to complete this. So we found 4 areas: professionalism, communication, mechanics, judgment. Scale 1 to 6. I will say right now, if we're working college baseball, we should not be poor or fair. So like if a coach gives me a poor or fair on an umpire's professionalism, communication, mechanics, judgment, I really expect that coach to provide a lot of examples and a lot of video. All right? I don't think I have anybody poor or fair in college baseball. Most umpires are going to be in the good or great. All right, so if you get good or great from a coach, if you get good or great from a crew chief, we're good or great. But this is what I challenge everybody. What can I do to get to excellent superlative? All right? And it shouldn't be just be better. I want to ask coaches, what could they have done to be excellent or superlative? Crew chiefs, as we go through this real quick, if there are items an umpire has control over where they could go from great to excellent, please let them know. Let them know. And umpires who get that information, listen, it's not an attack on you. We're trying to get you better. Okay, so a little detail in each one. So professionalism. Correct uniform, wears well on body. All right, not everybody is freaking ripped, toned. All right, there are ways, there are tricks to wear a uniform to really highlight the good parts of your body and hide the bad parts of your body. All right, that's why I love chest protectors on me. They hide my belly. That's why I wear a bigger thermal jacket than I do a plate shirt. That's why I'm wearing a hat right now. Hide that here, all right? So if somebody's doing, like this home plate umpire shaking hands, he's what we call the garbage bag. If that garbage bag was untucked, I'm probably telling him to tuck it in. All right, we tuck that in. All right. Belt. All right, black belt. If there's a really old black belt, tell the umpire, hey man, that's great. Be excellent. Shiny black belt goes a far way. Okay. Body language, posture, hands on knees, build cap. Where does it need to be? All right, I saw umpire again. This was the first week, and they were just in between pitches dancing around. All right, we got an umpire there. All right, you're in the right area, good, but yeah, it's probably what it was too. All right, but body language, appearance, clean shaven, and body well kept. All right, if somebody has bad breath, let them know. Okay, let them know they have bad breath. Right? We're all smiling, but we all know that official that has bad breath. Confidence, strength of signals, eye contact in conversations, body language after calls. Right? Watch umpires. After tough calls, how many of them keep their head up? And how many of them lower the head, run away? That is a sign of confidence. And if you don't think coaches pick up on that, you are kidding yourself. Right? So again, that eye contact, that confidence after making calls. And then engaged, pitch clock, focus, step in, locked in, rhythm. I always think baseball is a game of rhythm, and the excellent superlative umpires keep that game in rhythm. It's communicating to the catcher, I'm not giving you time. Communicating to the batter, I'm not giving you time. And we're not making a big thing out of it. We're just keeping everything in rhythm. All right? Pitch clock. We see the umpire going to their belt. We see the umpire clicking the stopwatch. We see the umpires raising their hand. Again, if you think coaches do not pick up on that, you guys are kidding yourself. They do. They do. Next one, communication. Availability. All right, when we mean availability, I seriously mean like you show open in RefQuest, you show open in Arbiter. I am not asking everybody to be available 24/7, 365. That is not what we're asking for. But we are asking, all right, a game got moved from a Sunday to a Monday, and you show wide open Monday. If you work Monday, block it. Work has to come first. If you have a big birthday party, block it. Family has to come before baseball. If you don't like working Sundays because of church, block it. That's all we're asking with communication. And it literally is we. All right, so coaches, this is the process. They call me, Sean, do you have umpires available if we move this doubleheader? I go into Arbiter, I go into RefQuest. I take a look at available umpires. I saw 18 umpires open the ICCAC for Iowa Central Monday, Tuesday, these next 2 days. I called the coach back 30 seconds later, got 18 available umpires, we're good. Now I have to call these 18 umpires. Guess how many of those 18 umpires are actually open? One of 18. So now I have to go into people who are blocked and ask them, all right, do you have work? Do you have family obligation? Can you make this work? And 2 other umpires were able to make it work. So 1 umpire is working both days, and I have 2 other umpires who change their schedule to make it work. All right, but literally understand, that's how quick coaches need to know, because they have buses, they have hotels, they have food, they have athletic trainers, they have game site administrators. They have people to line up to. And I have to get them the answer as fast as I can. And I give them yes or no, not who's going. I let them know, yes, I have 18 umpires available. We're good to go. But we didn't. We had 1 of 18 umpires good to go. Okay, so understand there's a lot going on. And if I go into Arbiter or RefQuest and I see no umpires available, guess what I'm probably going to tell the coach? Not looking good. Not looking good. Okay. Next, communication pregame with partners, text message, emails, phone calls. Be prepared. Coaches know when you get there. Your locker rooms have thin walls typically, if any walls at all. Okay. Pre-pitch signals, this is something I could observe. Infield fly, rotation, timing. All right, so if you don't know pre-pitch signals, ask your crew chiefs. Hey, Sean's talking about these pre-pitch signals. What the hell is he talking about? No question is a dumb question. And then communication on calls, intensity matches the game situations. True story, working with a new umpire, banger at third base. Banger at third base. Umpire goes, out. 100% got the call right. Third base coach goes, says the umpire's name, that deserved more. All right, again, and the coach was right. All right, so again, that's what coaches are observing as well. Mechanics, starting position A, B, short C, deep C. When are we in short C? Steals at third. You want to get so close to that pitcher's mound, not at the pitcher's mound, please, but you should be feeling like, oh man, a line drive's good. I'm in a bad spot. That's when you know you're in short C. Okay? Movement, pivot, your movement with a single runner. Are you getting there at second base? Are you getting to the third base on a triple? Are you getting in between when you don't know if they're going to go for a double or go back to first base? Multiple runners. Are you in the right part of the working area? Reading runners, and really it's listening to runners. All right, if you're not umpiring as a base umpire with your chest to the baseball and trying to use your ears to figure out what's going, because what's the defense going to say if that batter runner is going towards second? 2! Use your ears to help you move around the baseball diamond. Pause, read, react, trouble balls. We want umpires going out on trouble balls. 3-person especially, when in doubt, go out. 3-person, when in doubt, go out. 2-person, you need to know. Because if you go out late in 2-person, the home plate umpire is on an island. Home plate umpires, to prevent that, assume they're going to go out every single time. It's easier to go back home than get out late. All right, so that's a trick for home plate umpires. Again, that's superlative right there. You want to stand out as a home plate umpire? There it is. Calls, getting set, eye movement. When we say eye movement, on a force play, when are we turning our head? Ball's released. We have a quality throw. Sweet. We're turning our head. How about a tag play? Yeah, staying with the ball. All right, we could observe that. And when coaches say, you anticipated that play, T, that's what they're looking at. Coaches know. Coaches know. Sorry, I was looking at you, T. Sorry. Okay. Correct signals, clear signals. Avoid confusion with signals. That's probably the hardest thing for coaches. You know, if we go safe out, out safe, all right, timing. If we cause confusion, I love this picture in the upper left-hand side. You have the home plate umpire. This is 1,000% correct. He's stepping away. He's using his left hand, so there's no confusion that he's calling a strike. There's absolutely no confusion what he's asking for here. He's asking for a check swing. All right, that's the type of stuff we're looking for when observing. Judgment, strike zone. Technology's here, guys. I wish coaches would share all the information with us that they have access to. They're not required to, so they're not going to. But if they have a strike zone set up, there's Hawk Vision. I forget there's 3 main ones. If they have it, ask the coaches if they could send it to you. But I will say this: if you follow us on our YouTube channel, catcher setting up off the plate, bringing the ball back on the plate, we cannot call that a strike. Anything outside that buffer zone, we cannot call a strike. All right, so when we talk about 1 ball off versus 2 ball off, any part of the ball that touches the home plate 17 inches, that is on the strike zone. That is not the buffer zone. The buffer zone is 2 inches outside of that. So we are literally, quote unquote, 1 ball off is what we allow. There is a river. I tell coaches that. There is a river. It just cannot be the batter's box. And that's really where that buffer zone is. That buffer zone is giving us everything inside the batter's box. All right? We cannot get outside that buffer zone. 2 inches all the way around. I said it last year. I will say it this year again. Look at the top of the strike zone. Look how much room do you have up there. That top of the strike zone is where we miss strikes. It is still my weakest part of the strike zone. Because I see that catcher catch it right at that face mask. I'm like, no way is that a strike. And then they show me in K-zone, the whole entire ball is in the strike zone. Oh, I didn't even get to the buffer zone yet. All right, so that top of the strike zone is a lot bigger than we think. All right, so as we collect data, as coaches share data with me, we're really looking for umpires to stay within that 2-inch buffer zone. 2-inch buffer zone. Timing, show me the ball, wait till control is complete. Safe is safe on a force play, so that's right away. If you have a slide play, though, you can't call safe right away, because what could they do? They could slide off the bag or be forced off the bag, so now that's a whole different signal. All right, so again, a lot of situations, examples of going from great to excellent. Application of rules, awarding bases. Enforcement of pitch clock, action clock. Warning unsporting behavior to prevent ejections. Will ejections happen this year? Absolutely. But man, if we could find ways to prevent an ejection, to save an ejection, coach, if your players continue acting this way, they're at risk of getting ejected for bench jockeying. I need your help. A lot of times, I do. Coaches don't know. They are so focused on the game, they're not listening to their dugout. Bring it to the coach's attention. They appreciate that. Interaction with others, firm, poised, strong, fair, and understanding. Will coaches be emotional with you after a judgment call this year? Should we ever be like physical or not personally feel like they are attacking us as humans because they're having an emotional response? Understand the situation. They want to win the game. You're not wrong every time, guys. They think we are, but they have emotion. We have to be understanding and calm them down so we can get to talking. Coach, what did you see? All right, this is what I saw. We have different angles. This is what we're going to go with. If you could get with your partner, get with your partner. You don't have to. And that's really that difference of great to superlative. There are times where I'm going to say, Coach, I am 100% sure, I am certain I have this right. And there are times I know I got it right, but it's the right thing to do in that situation to go to my partner. Zach, we're not going to change this call, but we're just going to talk here for a little bit. We're going to take the air out of the game. That's what we're doing. We're taking the air out of the game, letting everybody's emotions settle down a little bit. We're not appeasing a coach. We're doing the right thing in the right situation. So again, some examples of this observation. And I'm going to show the observation form so you guys are aware what it's going to look like. Continue. All right, so umpire and chief observation forms. It's not showing? Oh, I know what I did wrong. Still not showing. And show. So this is the college baseball umpire observation form that coaches fill out for me. So I don't even ask them who's filling it out. So I have home team, visiting team, so I have a 50-50 chance of figuring out who filled it out. But I don't want to, I told coaches, I actually want both coaches filling it out. I don't care who wins, I don't care who loses. I actually do want both coaches' perspective. Now, if both coaches' perspective are off the spectrum, typically know who wins and who loses. But if it's right, wrong, or indifferent information, but it's same information, now we have some more credibility. So visiting team, plate umpire, base umpire, and again, exactly what I showed there. 1 to 6. I do not expect any 1s and 2s in college baseball. And then at the bottom, this is probably the big one I told the coaches, please provide me film. Not asking for the 3.5-hour ball game, but they are really good with technology. They have somebody on staff who's really good with technology to put in an at-bat, to put in a play. All right. That way, if they have a legitimate thing that could make me better, make you better, I can now send it. Okay. And that's hopefully gives us more information, gives us more data, and to go from there.
Will you provide us that information if somebody does put an observation in on us?
Yes.
No matter what it is.
Yep. Now, I don't want to say it. If I know a coach is doing it as an emotional response to a situation, I probably won't share it because it's not going to make anybody better. If the information in there is going to make an umpire better, I am going to share it, absolutely. All right, I haven't shared this in the past, but I think it's important that you guys hear this. In my head, I have a tier system. It is not 100% factual data, analytical. I don't have everybody's performance rating from every single game you did. But I do have a tier 1 system, I have a tier 2 system, tier 3 system. In general, tier 1 umpires have 5 years of experience and have worked postseason somewhere, somehow. And that could even be high school state tournament. Postseason is just different, and when you get that experience, it helps in umpiring. Tier 2, college umpire experience and continuing to improve each year. The thing there is improving. They're getting better. I do not expect every single new college baseball umpire to be good college baseball umpire. That's impossible. I was terrible when I started. Halfway terrible still. And then tier 3 are new college umpires. The only thing that makes you tier 3 is you're new. All right. Availability in system is my next thing I go. So I'm going to start with my tier 1s, then I'm going to go to my tier 2s. There might be a time I have 2 tier 1s together and I have 2 tier 3s available. Guess what I probably have to do? I have to split up the 2 tier 1s and put the tier 3s with the tier 1s. So like there are times where, man, why is Sean making all these changes? I don't get this. I don't understand this. That could be something that happened. Okay, and I don't always have time to explain it. If you truly have a question, you can email me, call me, text me. If I have time to answer, I will. But understand that that's one thing that goes into assigning. Another thing, I try to avoid conflicts. It's not called the blackball list. All right, but if I know umpires don't like coaches, and that same coach don't like that umpire. It would behoove me not to put those individuals together in the same room, right? If I know you saw a team 6 times already this season and I could avoid it, even though you were awesome those 6 times, I'm going to try to avoid it. Is it 1,000% proof? No. And then giving opportunities. My goal, registered new college baseball umpires, I want to get them 10 college games this year. Somehow, some way. I want to get them the experience. Another thing I don't always share, supervising. Understand, I represent way more than just umpires. All right, so yes, I represent you and your needs and your wants. I know umpires want more pay. As so long as I've been assigning every single time, I've always got rates to go up every single contract. Are they as the rate we want it to be? No. But I bet you those coaches aren't getting paid the amount they want to get paid either. All right. Travel. Some umpires don't mind it. Some umpires can't do it. I get it. You got to understand though, it's a lot of people I'm trying to handle wants and needs. Some people want 10 games. Some people want 60 games. Partners. I try to put people together that enjoy working with each other. Education and advancement. If you think you are stuck in a rut, how do I get to Division II? How do I get to Division I? If you truly don't know, let me know, because I'm going to let you know right now, you got to go to D2, D1 clinics and camps. I will send you those D1 clinics and camps, because most of the time, I can't go that weekend. I'm not available that time of year. D2 and D1 don't care. Okay, you have to go to D2 and D1 camps and clinics. Next, people I supervise, head coach. This is the feedback I get from head coach. They want quality. They want accountability. They want umpires they can trust. They want communication. And by the way, that's even me communicating with them like, hey, change schedule. All right, so communication. And they want flexibility. And it's weather-based. Flexibility is huge because of weather. Would you guys rather be umpiring underneath the lights in 25-degree weather or in the sun in 47-degree weather? That's flexibility. Okay, they're not doing it because they don't respect your work schedule. They're doing it because it's safer to play in the sun 47 degrees. Understand that. Conference commissioners. So now I have 3 conference commissioners. They expect professionalism from me. They expect leadership from me. Guidance. Hey, Sean, what should we do if this happens? How should we handle this? They do reach out to myself. They want support when they make a decision, and they want understanding of the position they're in. You know, they have to work with these coaches and these presidents and the different schools all year round. So yeah, the decision they make in baseball is going to affect future conversations with those coaches and athletic directors, and I understand that. And then the last one is national coordinators. So whoever we send to World Series, they want trust that what we send, they are doing it exactly the way the rule book and case book, mechanics manual expects umpires to do. I can't send people who are doing it their own way. I can't. Even if it's a better way, I cannot send people that way. They want our top umpires. Well, guess what? 5 different levels of college national coordinators want top level umpires. All right, so I got to balance that. Collaboration, just like we did. We have monthly calls during the season of what trends are going on in your conferences. What could they do, NAIA level, JUCO level, to help us? And then a commitment. If you are looking for a big postseason, World Series, you have to commit to that level. All right, they're not looking for the greatest umpire who is a Division I umpire, then all of a sudden I'm just doing NAIA this year. You're not going to get World Series in 1 year. It's not going to happen. They're looking for a commitment to that level. All right, so hopefully we get more there. Tim Martin, I believe, is going back to the NAIA World Series this year. We nominated 5 umpires for the JUCO World Series. This was the first time they've actually did national nominations. So the 5 that are on that list, you are now on the list. Now we got to commit to it. It might be a 3 or 5 year process, but we got to commit to it. Open assignments. So I know this isn't big. If you're online, screenshot this. If you're in the room, you can take a picture of this. This is literally what is open right now for college baseball. Okay? So take a picture of this. You do not have to let me know right this second. But tonight, tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, if you are available for these locations, dates, I think I have times on there. Take a picture, send me an email. And the 25th is filled, by the way. Iowa Central I filled this morning. So there is not a game available Tuesday, February 25th. That is filled. And I will tell you, weather looks good next week. It wouldn't surprise me if they add games next weekend somewhere, somehow. Okay, so again, if you have availability, let me know dates, time, and locations you're open, and we could go from there. JV. So I know JUCO, they start adding JV games because if they think they're going to get to the 50, 54, I think it's 54 contest, they now start adding JV games so they could get more people hits and pitches. All right, so JV games, I tried to put Tier 3 umpires on JV games before Tier 1. And I try to put a Tier 2 with a Tier 3. I still try to avoid 2 Tier 3s if I can on JV games. Postseason. So I have 3 conference tournaments to assign this year. I'm sure we'll have an NAIA postseason regional again this year. All right. But if you are registered and you pass the test, I should have put that there. Registered and passed the test, you are all eligible for postseason. Here's what I tell people. Don't give me a reason to cross off your name. Here's other ways to get a name crossed off. All right. If you don't have previous experience or if you don't have observations, if you are a brand new umpire, it's going to be hard to put you postseason in your very first year. Not impossible, but luck will have to go there, especially the observations. Communication skills. Don't be pointing and screaming at coaches. Don't be throwing your partners underneath the bus. Don't say, man, that umpire really sucks. It's not that umpire really sucks. What can we do to make this umpire better? So crew chiefs, and that's really more for crew chiefs. Crew chiefs, do not tell me your partner is bad. Tell me what we could do to make your partner better. That's what's going to make it better. Because the next time you work with that umpire, I want you to be like, wow, they really improved. Because it was the feedback the crew chief gave me. Give me information, positive communication skills to make people better. Availability, adaptability, flexibility. So I'm going to go to the dates, times, and I'm going to come back. In my ideal world, I would love a whole entire crew at one site the whole entire time. I know that's not realistic. I know that's a pipe dream for me. But GPAC is May 1st through May 6th. They have 2 pods, double elimination, and typically it's just one championship game May 6th. Time could be 1 o'clock. Time could be 6 o'clock. Is there lights? Is there not lights? Is one team in school? Is one team not in school? All those things play into consideration. North Stars Dickinson. I know there's either 2 or 3 umpires already assigned to it, and then I'm going to fill the other half. So there is going to be a Northern 3, and then I'm going to find 3 more umpires for the North Star May 1st through 4th. Being it is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we are going to ask a whole crew to be there all days. Okay? And then ICCAC D1, it's a best of 3 game series because there's only 2 teams. And then D2, it's 6-team double elimination in Carroll, Iowa. All right, May 8th through 11th. So again, everybody starts the season eligible, registered, passed the test. About good way through March, I started out looking at availability. Who is available during those dates? Who has the flexibility to be there during those dates? Strike zone. If you really want to take a look at, man, why did that person get that plate? Why did that person get that plate? I start with strike zone. I want my best ball strike guy on not the if game, but the first championship game. And then I work my way backwards from there. All right, I always assume, all right, 1 versus 2. So I don't want plate guy to see a team twice and them losing twice. All right, so I try to avoid that too. But I try to put my plate umpire in the best spots throughout a tournament and a strike zone accuracy. Who's within that buffer zone consistently? Mobility, appearance, mechanics. All right. So you got to be able to cover the field. You got to look the part and the mechanics. Rules knowledge. Sometimes that's luck, guys. You work games. Man, that person handled that rule application perfectly. Wow. Those who work the most wind up getting the luckiest. You get more rule application opportunities. Sportsmanlike management. Who will the coaches listen to and trust? So I have a list from coaches last year. Who would you like to see in postseason next year? I'm not letting coaches tell me this year. Hey, I want to see this umpire in our conference tournament. Nope. I asked that question at the end of the season. Who do you want to see in your conference tournament next year? I already have that from coaches. Crew chief feedback. I do have conversations. All right, so Tim Arndt, you're going to be the crew chief at one of the sites in the GPAC conference tournament. What are names that I should be considering that you want to work with in the GPAC conference tournament? So I do take crew chief feedback. Work put in at camps, clinics, meetings. So Ellen Steckel does a meeting. I think it's every other Monday. I keep track of, hey, who's on there? Who's going to Springfield? Who's going to Mid-American camps? All right, I think those who are around the information education, again, I don't have an art to it, but more than likely, if you're getting education, you're probably going to perform better in tough situations. And then my observations, either in person working with umpires or stream film. So a lot of stuff goes into these decisions. It's not just supervisors, assigners throwing darts at a piece of paper or whoever's name it hits. That's who I'm calling. There's just way too much accountability out there because I do have to have conversations. If there's a poor performance, conversation is, Sean, why did you choose this umpire to work this conference tournament? And I have to give them the reason why. Again, there is accountability on my side. College baseball and beyond, almost done. 2 minutes. JUCO NAIA World Series. Like I said, I've nominated this year already. If you truly, truly want to work a World Series in your career, and that's what I say, in your career, let me know that's a goal of yours. All right? It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in 1 year, I promise you. But if I know, we could foster that. Summer baseball, this is more for Tier 3 umpires. If you really want to be a really good college baseball umpire, work as much college summer baseball as you possibly can. Work as much as you can. Yes, it is travel. Yes, it could be fun. It could be not so much fun. All right, but it is a way to see the college speed, college plays, college players. We also have the Mink League, which is college summer baseball as well. There is one team that's not playing this year. I forget which one, though. I think it's Des Moines. I think the Des Moines area is not playing. So St. Joe's, Clarinda, Carroll. And then we have 2 college clinics. One will be in June in Omaha. One will be October. We use a showcase here in October. So again, if you are looking to advance in college baseball, Chad Ishams from the Northern Sun usually comes in October. And I give him my recommendations from the June of who he should be looking for next season as well. Okay. So final notes here. Register with the NAIA. Take the test for NAIA. If you are JUCO, I hope you registered NCAA already. That test is already closed. Update availability in Arbiter Sports for GPAC, in RefQuest for North Star, and for the ICCAC. Get in the rule book. Anyone not have a rule book? All right, Eric, you don't have a rule book. Scott, you don't have a rule book. I will, because I have it downloaded, so I'll email the rule book to you so you can print it out or save it as a PDF. The other thing you guys will have access to, we're not going to go over this stuff, but every conference has bylaws by sport. All right, when I send this out, if you click on this, it goes, if I did it right, and I didn't do it right, so I apologize. So you'll have access to all 3 conferences, bylaws, and regulations of each sport. This is where I got the nuances from. Okay, so you guys have access to that. Anybody have questions for me? New rules, getting on games. Does anybody not know how to update availability in RefQuest or Arbiter? Okay. So RefQuest, and I'm in. We're going to go to RQ Assign Calendar. Let's say I'm going to make this, not sure what date, let's see here, 14th, block time. So I clicked on the date, firm block, work, and I could actually pick all the places. And then notes, work, meeting with boss. Save and close. Now if I go back down to the 14th, that is exactly what the supervisors are going to see. So RefQuest, calendar. Once you go to the calendar, just click on the date. So provisional means I have work. Provisional note, have work, but have 5 days built up. And you could even put the start time, just go 11 a.m., okay. End time, 4 a.m., p.m., okay. And again, you get to pick the conferences, save and close. So now when I go to that date, forget what date I picked, 11th, now it's blue. All right, so now from an assigner standpoint, if I see blue, I see flexibility. If I see 5 days built up, I might not want to use it in February. I might save that for May. All right, so the more information you give your assigners, the better everybody's life is. Because I will tell you, if you're new to college baseball, in the heat of the season, sometimes it's better to be available than able to do it. That's how I got my break. Literally, that's how I got my break. And then I was bad, and then they helped me get better. That's how it works. Okay? So does that help you with RefQuest? Again, do not leave this meeting with questions like that. I mean, those are game changers for everybody involved. Does that help with your blocking? So Great Plains uses Arbiter, ICCAC and North Star uses RefQuest. I do know Heart of America, KCAC, Northern Sun, MIAA mostly use RefQuest as well. All NCAA uses RefQuest. JUCO is RefQuest, and then the GPAC is Arbiter. So all NCAA moved to RefQuest this year because literally NCAA paid everything. So the conference don't have to pay nothing. So right now, GPAC has not moved because of the cost difference. So hopefully NCAA will pay for all NAIA too. Then it's really easy. JUCO moved to RefQuest because they don't have to use their payment system. So essentially it is free for the ICCAC because a lot of schools, they pay checks still.
When I was registering earlier, I stopped and didn't finish because I selected my conferences and then it was like $150 background check. Is that correct? Or
Yeah, so the registration is 150. It's either 125 or 150. So that's true, but there should not be an additional background check.
There wasn't. There was just 150. So I just want to make sure that's right.
That is correct. Yep. So that 150 is not for the background check. That is for the registration. Cool. All right. I will be here if you have questions. If you are watching online, once again, please put your name, if you have not done so, in the chat box for attendance records. And if you are re-watching online later, reply to the questions I send via email so I know you watched this meeting. And those of you in the room, I'm just going to have you sign the bottom of this test so I know you were here and I remember you were here for accountability purposes of who attended the staff meeting. Because that is, again, part of accountability on my end. I need to let people know they were attended at the staff meeting. Thank you for coming out today. I will be here in the room if you have questions for me.